Yes, you're
What
live
about
now.
now?
We're
Now.
live
What
now.
about now?
Now you're
What
live.
about now?
You're live
What
now.
about now?
Now.
Okay.
So I've been sitting here. I was early.
I was late.
You were late.
It's my
But
own
while I
loss.
was sitting here, I was looking at this.
The flag?
Why does this, just under the flag,
Yeah.
there's this piece that bolts on.
Yeah.
Why does it bolt on and this one does
It's
not
just the
bolt?
way they machined it. It's just the way
I mean,
they
that's
did
they're all like that.
it. This type of block has a gear drive that's built into the front cover, and like this block here has a separate gear drive. But it's just the way they machined
Huh,
it.
okay.
You know, for
Just
whatever reason.
curious. I noticed stuff like that.
Hello, live people. What's going on?
What's
Anybody
up,
there yet?
Dakota?
Oh, Dakota.
Kurt?
Dakota's there.
Mex-American, what's going on?
Excellent. So, Buff, what's new with
What's
you,
up,
bro?
Greg? What's going on, Fubar?
I'm almost finished that bedroom. I've been picking at it. Painted and painted, painted. And when I'm done, I gotta go to the shop and start picking at something automotive.
Yeah.
Because
I picked that stuff automotive, and it destroyed my lower
How's your back?
It's a mess.
you know, I saw that video, I saw the thumbnail, I was like, that body's on that frame, and he's shorting the frame.
It
Looks so good. Yeah, it
I,
looks good.
I love it. Uncle Kathy, she's not crazy about it.
It's sitting a little high.
I have
but-
to go see it in person. I haven't seen it in person yet.
You haven't?
No.
Oh,
he
I
didn't.
thought you
He
took the
did.
thumbnail.
No, he took the photos and sent them to me.
Oh.
He did all this. He didn't even tell me
That's
he was
right.
doing it.
I didn't know I was
And
gonna
he
do it
came
until I
back, and I'm
actually did
like,
it.
shouldn't I have filmed some of that? And he's
The-
like, oh, I forgot.
The video, the video wasn't there. They were still
What's
shot.
up, John?
Well, you gotta remember, it sits up high right now, but it's just an empty body.
Yeah, I know.
Now throw a motor in, drivetrain,
But the-
interior doors and all of that, and now it's gonna
The
come
body
down
in the
probably
front-
2 inches, 3
Oh,
inches.
yeah, I guess in the wheels.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
What's
I
going
love
on,
it.
426 Rich?
I love it. My only problem now is I originally wanted to go like all Mad Max with it and like have spare tires mounted outside of it and all that shit. But now that I look at it, it's just too tight. So now I got to figure out how to make it like hot rodish.
You're not gonna make
Yeah, it looks, it
You
looks-
try and make it pretty.
I'm gonna
It
try to
looks
make it
good.
Oh
pretty.
no, don't do that.
Not pretty.
No,
I don't
don't
want-
try and make it.
No, I don't want to make it pretty, like, oh, look at my pretty car.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I want to make it look like it's pro, like not like just like some, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, you got a plan for body mounts and the floor and all that? Is that flat steel floor or what is it?
It's
Or does it have to have a transmission relief or is
the,
it?
the training tunnel looks like it'd just be maybe like a 2-inch rise.
Okay, so it
At
needs
at
something.
very front, yeah, but very small, nothing,
Okay.
nothing big at all. But it's so I've got over the stock rockers, just the outer
Uh-huh.
unibody from the Valiant there, and the frame, and there's about I don't know, I'd say about an 8-inch gap between the two. So I was going to truss it out with box steel,
Okay, so that'll be part of the frame.
That'll be part of the frame.
Okay.
It'll be a frame within a frame. That's why I wasn't so crazy about because I've only got the truck frame butt welded right now, but there'll be so many different zigzags and trusses and braces that it won't matter. It's all going to be one solid piece.
On the cheap says it must be hard talking with your hands with a sore back.
It is.
Are you hurting
He's not
yourself?
talking with his back.
No, this doesn't bother me. This is fine.
That's all right, but you said
Yeah.
it was hard to lift a cigarette. Were you exaggerating?
No, if I'm standing on the ground and I have to actually lift something up where the weight is on my lower back, forget about it.
Okay.
When I had all those broken ribs, I was starting to feel better. Everything's healing up. So I was working at a logistics warehouse, and we had these big cases of toilet paper come in. There's a guy up on one of these staircase things that rolls around, and I'm handing these things to him, and I wasn't able to do that until then. And I hand him another one. I hand him another one, and then there's one roll of toilet paper left. So I grabbed the roll of toilet paper and I went like that. Broke one of the my back. One roll of toilet paper. But it's because of the way I flicked it up to him.
I did today something I haven't done. And when was the last time I spent a day on the
Thank
couch?
you, Ryder Rappel Horse. Sent you $6.66.
Thank you, my evil friend.
What? What happened there?
I don't know.
I spent the day on the couch.
Yesterday? Not the
Today.
whole day. Today?
Yeah.
Didn't you leave the house for a little bit?
Well, we took the dogs
We took
for a
the
ride,
dogs for a ride.
right?
But you weren't on the couch the whole day.
I was well.
See, this is a Mopar guy. Most people take their dogs for a walk. You take them for a ride.
They don't want to walk. They want to go for a ride. They took them to Jimmy John's and bought them day-old bread. They love that.
Oh man.
Maggie ate a whole loaf and then started going after all of the others.
I used to work for a guy, and after we worked all day, he'd buy a couple of pizzas. And one of the pizzas was for us, and the other pizza was for his dog.
There you go.
And the dog, eat all the pizza, and then pretty soon everything's gone. And he looks at me and he says, you know the difference between the way a human eats a pizza and the way a dog eats a pizza? And I said, I don't know. He goes, the human doesn't eat the box when they're finished.
Right.
Bull Nose Farge says, love the Gambler 500 cards, bad arse.
Yeah, I love it too. It turned out a lot cooler than I thought it was going to. Well, I mean, it's not done. I mean, all we did
Yeah,
was just
no,
knock it
you
together.
didn't do
but-
anything.
It's a pushmobile.
No, but the silhouette of it turned out
Oh.
to be a lot cooler than I thought it would.
And there's more room in front of your shop.
Yeah, well, that was the big thing.
Oh,
because
I
I had
know,
no
that's
room in
what-
front of the shop.
It's like, why'd you do this? Well, because I needed room in front of the shop.
Well, you gotta understand, in the back, right? I have the truck, the trailer, my 66 Dart, my 64 Dart, my 67 GT, this truck, the wrecker, right?
Oh, I've seen it all,
So whenever I have to move something back there, it's like, okay, gotta put the battery in this. Oh, okay, gotta move that one out. We gotta push this one up. Take the battery out, put it in there. Move. So like to even make the smallest move back there, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and it takes me half the day. So I needed to free up space up in front of the shop.
And that's a good way to do it.
That was the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Mike N says, hi from Toronto. You have a new neighbor in Tennessee, Scotty Kilmer. He turned me on to your channel. How would you update the alternator on a 65 Chrysler 300?
How would I
Update it.
Well, it doesn't get much better than the way it is.
I mean, I wouldn't. There's no up. I mean, you could put a later like Nip and Denso in there, but I use all my cars have the stock alternators.
Chrysler alternators, back in whenever they came out, what, 61 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a pretty good thing.
So is your back feeling better?
I no.
No? All right.
It's
It
all right.
will. Give it a couple days.
Yeah. I have a bunch of Tylenol in me right now. It's all good.
Okay.
Tylenol,
Yeah, Tylenol.
yeah.
What's up, Zero?
It works,
Hey,
it does
Zero.
work.
What's up, Earl?
When I had all those broken bones, the Tylenol took enough
What's
edge
up,
off it that I
numbnuts?
could sleep. And it did make a difference.
Hey, on those Chrysler alternators, the only downside to them,
Yeah, what's the downside?
the diodes sometimes short out and fry the whole electrical system of the car.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I know we've replaced, my friend Carl has replaced diodes for me before.
Yeah. The diodes.
But I didn't know it messed anything up in the car.
Yeah, it'll burn the car to the ground if you're not careful. That's why you got to fuse a link in. We did a whole video.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you did that.
Joe Milburn says he didn't expect it to look that cool. The 4-door with no doors, short wheelbase, and flat front and back ends make it.
It's going to get doors. I mean, we're putting the doors back on it because I want it to be street legal. I want to be able to drive
Just
it
leave
anywhere.
the doors off, like
Why?
a Jeep.
Cut the doors down real low like a Jeep.
No,
You wanna
no,
do that?
no,
I'll do
no.
that for you.
I want it to be usable as a car.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you could say, roll up your windows. Roll up.
Junior Williams says, great YouTube channel. Thumbs
Thank
up.
you.
Try Motrin. It's better for your stomach.
My stomach's fine. I just ate a big bowl of chili, washed it down with a coffee just now. I'm all good.
Dirty Knob says, as long as it's not Tylenol from the 80s. No.
Oh yeah,
Tylenol
remember
from
that?
the what?
Tylenol from the 80s.
Remember when it was killing everybody?
Yeah.
Oh,
With the
yeah,
Tylenol
some bottles,
scare.
because some woman put arsenic or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Poison.
Wow, I
Well,
forgot all about that.
she's in prison for the rest of her life. Good.
I was
You know what
always
she
thinking
did?
has a
You know
hair.
what she did? She wanted to kill her husband, which she did, and then she went back to the store and put more arsenic in other bottles to make it look like something random and killed some random people.
Right.
What evil person. Oh.
Let's see.
And
LaSalle,
that's why we
oh,
have
sorry.
all these interlocking.
That's right.
LaSalle says, what's your opinion, LA versus Magnum Motors?
I mean, the Magnum is obviously a better engine. It's the next step in evolution. It's better, but it's not that much better, you know? So it's almost like flip a coin. I prefer LA's only because I'm very familiar with them and I have tons of parts for them. But we are going to build a Magnum soon.
Russell Finch says, can you tell us about the radiator, UT?
Yeah, I say radiator.
No.
you say radiator.
I said radiator.
You know,
He
I
just
had
says
radiator
radiator.
shops, and they're both. There's radiator shop, there's radiator shop, depends on the day and the mood.
Where do you pay more, a radiator shop or a radiator shop?
Yeah, I don't know. You pay more when you adjust something, or if you calibrate it, I know that, the calibration costs more. So what about the radiator? What radiator is this?
I don't know.
I don't know. Stuck Out West says, planning on moving to Middle Tennessee this summer.
Welcome.
I see you're involved with the Gambler 500. I do the Gambler and in Washington. Is there any difference between the one in Washington and Tennessee?
I'm not involved with it. We're putting this car together for it, you know, because it looks like it's a fun thing to do. I know they're having a thing called Redemption, Gambler Redemption Race in March. And we'll go out there and we'll check that out, not as a participant, but yeah, we'll definitely go to check that out. But no, I'm not involved in it. We want to be involved in it for sure. You know, we're building a whole car for it. And then you're going to take your Probe, aren't you?
My what?
What is that? What kind of car is it you drive?
That Mazda?
Mazda, same thing, right?
I'm taking my Mazda.
Yeah, you're not taking your Mazda on the Gambler 500 off-road?
Joel Woody wants to know, what do you recommend for headers for a 440 and a 74 Duster?
Is that room?
Honestly, I mean, lots of people have, they don't like fender well headers, but honestly, a big block, a 440, not even a B motor, but an RV motor in an A body, go with fender well headers, right? Just for the ease, because plug wires and starter, and you have no idea what kind of nightmare. You could spend $1,000 on a set of like TTI headers for these things, and they'll fit, but it's still a nightmare to change any, you know, do any type of basic tune-up, spark plugs, the starter, anything you got to do, you know, maintenance on the engine is a nightmare. If I was building a 440 A body, definitely no question, no doubt in my mind, if it wasn't going to be cast iron exhaust manifolds, and you could use log manifolds on them, they fit really good, it would definitely be fender well headers.
Rob Ebert says, do I need to remove the steering column to replace the turn signal switch on my 65 Dodge Coronet?
No, you don't have to remove the steering column.
Steering wheel.
Yeah, you have to remove the steering wheel. Yeah.
Well, he's asking about the column.
No, column stays on the car.
What's up, Baron?
Baron!
Aaron, how come he didn't call you?
You
Hi,
didn't
Uncle
call me
No
tonight.
Identity.
Oh no, my phone's gonna
Did you
ring.
say hi to Uncle No Identity?
Oh, Uncle No Identity. Who's that? He has no identity.
No identity.
No
I don't know.
Identity.
Man, is that what it says on his driver's license?
Probably.
No identity?
I need your service. How can I get a hold of you?
What do you do? What kind of service?
Do you want me to make a video for you?
It's
That's
not
what I
video.
do.
Tony doesn't do any services. Right?
No, your service is teaching people how to do it themselves.
I don't even teach them how to do it.
No,
I just show them
you-
how I do it, and then they can figure
Yeah.
out if they want to do it that way themselves.
I used to work with a guy and he'd show me how to do something and he'd go, you know, there's probably 1,000 ways to do this that are right.
That's the
And,
truth.
and he was right, because I had little variations. Do things a little differently.
No, I show my way and explain why I do things the way I do them, but then it's wide open, you know, there's so many different ways to do something. But I never say, oh, this is the absolute way to do it. I say, this is the best way I have found to do it.
What's up, B-Fog? Chris Greenway says, Greenaway, sorry. How do you make connections for finding a hard car? I'm looking for a 72 Montego GT.
That is a hard car to find. And I
You
know
know,
exactly the car you're talking about. They're really
Just
fucking
keep
cool, actually.
looking and one day there'll be one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the first thing you do is join Mercury enthusiast groups, like, you know, on Facebook or any of the social medias. You know, connect with as many Mercury people as you can, and I mean, that's the only way. That's the only way you're gonna find something like that.
Give Kevin Kahn a shout out.
Kevin Kahn. Oh, shout out.
Let's see. Do you know Tom Davis in Alabama?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I might. I know so many people by face.
Let's see.
Hey, and the older you get, you don't remember any names after a while. Just remember their faces.
That's the truth.
That's right.
White River Pale Horse wants to know Tony and the boss of the house. That's you, Tony. Or Maggie. It's Maggie.
Maggie's the boss. Notice how we both agree that Maggie's the boss of the
Maggie's the
house.
loud
Oh,
dog.
yeah, she's the lover.
No, Lily's the loud one.
The one that comes out here.
Oh,
and is
Maggie's
like,
loud, too.
Yeah, that's
too
Maggie.
close to my.
Yeah.
Can you start a part, sell, and swap site for Mopar parts?
You know, it's funny.
It's funny you say that.
You say that because we were just talking today. I need help around the shop, badly. right? I need help. And we were just yesterday considering firing up the parts business again, just so that I've got an extra set of hands around the house. Because YouTube pays good, but it doesn't pay consistent. So I can't take on somebody on a payroll and say, here, you're gonna make X amount every week. Can't do that. But if we got the parts business going again, I could have somebody running the parts business for me, and then I would have that set of hands around the shop when I need them.
And I can't walk in the attic.
You can what?
Walk in the attic.
Yes. That's,
Parts.
Is that what you did? You get parts in the attic?
I got parts,
Parts everywhere. We have parts
When
everywhere.
we were running, this was a parts warehouse. And
It's true.
we had parts in the shed, parts in the attic, parts cars in the backyard, plus I had the lot. At the lot, I had usually I had a dozen parts cars, and I had a couple of few units that were filled with parts. So it was
We had
constant.
a ton. We've gotten rid of a lot, but still have a lot.
When I lost that last shop that I had, we got 60,000 pounds of metal. 60,000
And
pounds
parts.
of parts. There was no place to put them. I couldn't get anybody to take them, even for free.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
We had no choice. Let's see. He says I have a shipping container.
Oh, man.
I would have filled that in an hour.
I want to put shipping containers in my yard, but then my yard starts looking like, what it looks like.
Who cares?
Put too many shipping
I've seen
containers.
enough episodes of American Pickers. All the cool people have shipping containers in their backyard.
Stephen Frappis says, my Holly carb had a stuck rear needle. I cleaned it out and works fine. Should I replace it anyway? Or is this a part to clean and lube on occasion?
It's possible that you just got a little piece of stuff, maybe a piece of rubber from the fuel line, a little piece of rust or silt that made its way past the filter. They got stuck up in. I would leave it and keep an eye on it. If it happens again, obviously change it. But there's a good chance you cleared it out.
F-Bombs and Flying Wrenches Garage says, Uncle Tony, you should watch Dirt Lifestyle and look into a link suspension so you can go fast off-road and wipe the competition.
I don't want any suspension other than that suspension that's on that truck right now, on the car right now. Okay, how can I explain this to you, right? I love it. I mean, like beyond what, there's nothing I
You were
could
really excited when you got it.
Yeah, it
together,
is the
yeah.
most perfect chassis I have ever in my life encountered. I would not change a thing. And if there's a way to go fast with what's there, I will figure out how to go fast with what's there. And if I can't go fast with what's there, then I just won't go fast. Because I love what's there.
What's up, Dan Mills?
Simplicity.
Oh God, it's the thing that turns me on the most about that. Okay. So I've dealt with tube cars and 20 coaster extras and shit like that. And obviously, there's all the room in the world to do whatever you need to do with the motor. But that's the first street chassis, right? But I've never dealt with it. There's no clearance issues for anything, any header, any oil pan,
What year
is
is it?
completely, utterly accessible from
71?
360 degrees. 71.
71.
Yeah.
See, I gotta look for one of those.
Yeah, I love that. Not only do I love that chassis, I love the idea of that chassis. What?
Nothing, Joe Biden is commenting.
Hey,
Joe Biden, hi Joe.
How's your
He
kid?
drives a
No,
Corvette.
okay. Chris Greenaway wants to know what happened to the collaboration motor. The collaboration motor.
Collaboration motor.
Lunar, I guess.
I guess that's when you assembled one.
Oh, I don't know. Watch the videos.
Let's see.
I can bring you a little bit up to date. He can't get into Canada because of COVID.
We did a video called, I think it was called Le Fiasco Supreme or something like that, which explains our end of it. So go watch that.
Mike N says, I watched that Feasible Link video you did. That's why I'm thinking of going with the newer Nipidenko.
Yeah, that's
Okay, alternator.
Yeah.
What year would you
Nipidenko?
use
Could be.
for the
Okay.
65 Chrysler? Nipidenko? Did I say that right?
I always thought it was Nipidenso, but I don't know.
It could be Nipidenso.
I would just use the stock alternator. Make sure the fusible link is good, and if you want to be extra protective, throw a 60 or a 70 amp fuse between the one wire that bolts onto the alternator. That's the hot lead that goes into the car to the alternator gauge, then comes back out and goes to the battery. put a 60 or 70 amp fuse in that, in line with that, and you won't ever have a problem with it.
Or
What's up,
breaker.
Lazy A-Hole Ranch?
Or a breaker.
I like breakers. See, the airplane guy, you can reset them.
Yeah,
You know when fuses blow? When you don't have one and it's night and it's raining,
that's true.
and then you're outside in the mud, kneeling on the ground trying to fix something.
Ever tuned a blown tractor puller?
No, no. I've never tuned a blown alcohol anything. Only I'm just gasoline carburetors and nitromethane and mechanical injection. I've never messed with alcohol in any capacity.
Joseph likes your t-shirt. Says it's awesome.
Thank you.
Let's see. Joe Copa. Have any idea what a 69 Charger RT 28,000 miles in storage for 35 years is worth?
That's a question for you, Uncle Kathy.
Is that a question for
Yeah.
me? No, I haven't really
What was the
looked at
question?
prices lately. I have any idea what a 69 Charger RT 28,000 miles in storage for 35 years is worth? A lot. It's worth a lot.
I gotta see at least
As long as it
60.
didn't go in there with rust or something, or
Yeah.
mice didn't get in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's a
Pictures.
solid car, I'm gonna say 60 to 75,000.
Yeah, it's worth a lot. Let's see. That chassis would be easy to convert to a four-wheel drive.
Never happen.
No,
it will never
you hate
happen.
four-wheel
Never
drive?
ever happen. Never, never, ever, ever, never.
Sorry, that's a no.
No, I will not make any alteration to that chassis. Nothing could ever make me make any alteration to the most perfect chassis I've ever seen in my entire life.
There's a 67 Plymouth Belvedere taxi package, 225, 3 in the tree for sale in Arkansas.
Ooh.
Factory yellow cab in pretty decent shape. Nice.
Where is it?
Arkansas.
Now, a lot of people don't know, right? That the taxi package is an actual thing, right? Where it's its own unique car, and the second digit in the VIN is a T for taxi. And the difference is it has the floor pan is 2 inches deeper.
Really?
It has a special unibody, the floor pan is 2 inches deeper.
Because I thought it had all like double spot welds and stuff. And
Oh, it has, everything's all reinforced.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know it was deeper.
Taxi package has different floor pans.
Man.
Clamfish, just post your question, and if I land on it, I'll read it. There's a lot of questions, so I can't read them all, but I try. Let's see. Arizona Angler. I bought my first project car, and I'm looking to modify it. It's an 81 Vet. Being that I'm 16 and clean pools after school, I need some suggestion for bang for your buck power adders.
It's a carbureted car.
Yeah.
That's
Ba-
good.
Bang for the buck, throw a little nitro system on it, just a simple 150 shot deal. I mean, bang for the buck, nothing's gonna beat that.
Arizona. Man, I miss that place.
Cool can. You run a car around in Arizona, a cool can is probably a pretty
They
good
put
thing.
dry ice in.
Yeah.
James Avery wants to know what's going on with the turbo slant and Hemi Mitsubishi.
I don't know what's going on with the turbo slant. I got to talk to Jim. He's swamped at his shop, but I'm way overdue to call him. I'll go give him a call tomorrow. And the same thing with Kiwi. He had that knee operation, got way behind, and he's slammed over with his deal. So I'm going to catch up with both of those guys this week, and we'll do updates and see where everything is at.
Studebaker Larry says, what do you think of the Petronics suit?
I don't use them. I hear both good and bad. I hear guys that make the swap and it's, oh, I'm the happiest person on earth. They put a Petronics on my car. It's awesome. And then you hear other people, I get stuck every 35 feet. My Petronics is a piece of shit. I put the points in and went back.
I have Petronics on 351 Windsor.
Yeah.
125,000 miles, and that's not what stopped the engine. Something else is my stupidity. I wrecked the engine. But that's the last time I ever set the dwell was when I put that on.
Well, see, there you go. There's pro Petronics
Yeah.
right there.
And I drive all over the place, both coasts,
Yeah.
everywhere. And it was reliable. And I always kept the second one in the glove compartment, never used it.
Loris Christensen says, do you ever experiment with builds? I'm thinking bits from different brands generating a little Frankenstein build.
I keep everything in my fleet uniform in that there's everything is pretty much interchangeable, and that's one of the reasons why I'm able to do what I do. We've got 14 cars and trucks, and in those 14 cars and trucks, 11 of them are absolutely turnkey. Just put a battery in it, pour gas, turn the key, and go. And the only way that that's possible is that I keep everything very standardized and uniform amongst them. So I wouldn't consider a build like that for myself. If somebody I knew, like if Buff wanted to do something like that,
I've
I
done
would,
stuff like that.
yeah, I'd love to help. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing. I'd love to jump in and help, but you'd never see me initiate something like that.
I had a 67 Cougar with a small block Chevy in it. Real straightforward car that was simple back in, 67, nothing complicated. Just put a Chevy engine in it and a turbo hydro and it ran good.
Yeah. See,
But that's simple, back then that was simple.
Don't worry, Crayon Fish, it's okay.
And my 61 there's somebody in there, Studebaker. My 61 Studebaker, it'll have a Chevy in it. I'm not a big Chevy guy, but here two of the swaps I've done have been Chevys.
Pablo wants virtual instruction to help with his car. He'll pay you. Virtual instruction.
What's he
you
doing?
don't have to pay me. I don't want your money. Just tell me what's wrong with the car.
Okay, I'm trying to catch everybody's comments. It's really tough, guys. I apologize if I'm not reading everything. It's impossible. Let's see. I have a 64 Poly 318 board 40. Over? 40
40
over?
over, okay.
Is it worth building again?
Sure. Absolutely. Those polys are cast thick. You can go like 100 over on them. No problem.
See, that's the other thing. I got a Poly now. I just got to go get it. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
Well, go get
But I
it.
have a Poly. It's in northern Minnesota. I told him I'd be there after winter.
That's like close to the Arctic Circle.
No, he says he's this far from North Dakota. I knew that was going to be a problem in the winter. I lived in South Dakota in the winter. That was cold.
That's a long way to go for a polyhead car.
Oh, it's a good drive. It's like, why not? It's just like,
We got to find things to keep you busy.
I don't know. I like road trips, I guess. Then I got a friend in Minneapolis. I'm going to stop and see him. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'm looking for comments. They're talking to each other. They don't want to talk to us. They're talking
Yeah,
to
we
each
were
other.
talking to each other, so now they're talking to
Right.
each other. Okay, stop that shit.
Okay, Brendan Gill says, Tony, I'm having carburetor problems on my 1980 Mercury Bobcat. I was thinking of taking a fuel injection system from a Mustang with the same 2.3 liter engine or put a new carb. I did rebuild the old one.
Well, the EEC4 was a pretty, the system that they used in that era of car was, really good. I raced with one for, a year. We had really, really good results with it. So, it's a good system. I would flip a coin. I like the simplicity of a carburetor, but that fuel injection system is pretty bulletproof.
Thank you, Joshua. Let's see.
You could even, the Ranger, because they use that motor in the Ranger, the 2.3. You could even find a Ranger in the junkyard and swap all of the fuel injection stuff over from one of those.
Christian C
Might have
says,
to.
oh, sorry.
Those things go up kind of high. You might have to do something with the hood. I think. It seems to be the Ranger, like something looked like it was big on top of the engine, but maybe it fits under the hood. I don't know. I had several Bobcats and Pintos, the wagons.
Christian C says, I've seen you at the Music City Mopar show. Are you going to any other local shows or cars and coffee meets?
There's an outside possibility we may try to make the Mopars versus the world in Alabama in November. I don't know the exact date yet. I'm still waiting on the parts we checked the tracking. I won't have the rear end parts until Wednesday. So if I get the rear end parts for Bottle Rocket on Wednesday, we'll take it out, we'll shake it down a little bit, and it's possible we try to go to that Mopars versus the world event with Bottle Rocket.
Is that a drag race?
Yeah.
Oh.
Junior K says, I was inspired by Uncle Tony. I spent quality time this weekend with my carburetors and stayed home, ordered an extra large pizza, and spent the whole evening binge watching UTG. Is this normal?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's all.
When I found you, that's what happened. I started watching all of it.
Yeah, every healthy
Previous.
American binge watches
Binge watches.
UTG at some point or another. Every time you click, we get paid.
It's like different. Sometimes I go back and I know I saw that in UTG. I have to go back and find it.
Sell the damn pig, keep it. I was gonna let it go, but he says no.
That is a nice paint.
When is the Mopar versus the World?
It's in November. I tell you what, you Google it and give me the date. I don't know what the date is off the top of my head.
Cramfish 2. What happens if you adjust base timing to highest stable vacuum? I did an ECU delete. Oops, it jumped. I did an ECU delete and I'm flying blind. How do I figure out the dance of mixture and timing? I don't want to blow it up.
I never set timing to vacuum. You can do it that way, and maybe it works well for a low performance engine. I've never done it that way. Setting the timing to the highest RPM does not mean that, there's a good possibility that you're dealing with 25 or 30 degrees initial. You know, now when you're mechanical and your vacuum and all that comes in, it's like you're in Ping City. So no, don't set your timing by vacuum.
John Wilburn's asking where it is. Alabama, you said?
Yeah,
It's in Alabama.
I don't know, somebody look that up.
Huntsville, that's close.
Yeah,
All right, Brandon wants to know what's the difference from a Magnum 360 to a A360?
the cylinder heads and the rockers, all Magnums are rollers, and only 86 and newer 360 LA motors are rollers. That's pretty much it, the heads and rockers.
Cramfish is saying stroked out 4.0, the safest I'm looking at is 14 degrees at most.
Say that one more time?
Stroked out 4.0, the
Right.
safest I'm looking at is 14 degrees at most.
14 degrees initial,
That's what all he says.
14 degrees initial, plus, I mean, I don't know what your centrifugal is. So if the centrifugal adds 20 degrees, so you're looking at 34 total, yeah, that's about good, that's probably about safe.
But if you hear
He says
any
thank you.
pinging,
Yeah, any pinging,
did you ever use water to get rid of pinging?
no. Water injection, a lot of people do. I have nothing against it. I
I did
feel
it with turbocharged many years ago. But then,
Well,
Just don't-
GM started with that, with the Jetfire, the Oldsmobile Jetfire. They had
oh, in like 62 or something?
62. They had
They had that manifold, big air cleaner that encased the whole carburetor.
well, they had the water injection system. Only
Okay.
it wasn't water. They didn't call it water injection.
Oh.
It was methanol water mix.
So did the Mazda rotaries, now that I think about it.
They had a
Same thing, it was a,
Yeah.
yeah, a mix. Yep, I've forgotten about that.
Pablo says, I told my daughters I'm going to chat with Uncle Tony. They said we never met him, and you spend so much time with him. Funny. Okay. Hammer Time Racing. How much am I losing by not running a vacuum pump? I run header evac, 12 5-to-1 compression, 3-to-3.
if you're running a header evac system. I've run them on one header, and it seems to work good. How much are you giving up a vacuum pump versus a good evac system, one that works well? Nothing. The evac system should work just as well as a decent vacuum pump system. But all engines
I'm
are a little
lost
different.
here. What are you talking about?
Pan evacuation system to relieve crankcase pressure,
Okay,
right? There are two ways you can do it. You can run a vacuum pump, which creates negative pressure in the crankcase,
all right.
okay? Or you can run what's called a pan evac system. So what that is, so picture you have a header right here.
Was it like something in there so it pulls air in?
You run a line, right, exactly. It's
It's like an air gun thing. Yeah.
like an air, okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's in the collector, okay? And then you run that line up to the valve cover, what would normally
I
be the
never
breather.
knew about this.
And the vacuum created by the exhaust passing over this deal creates a negative pressure situation in the crankcase. And it's good, they're good for like 15, 20 horsepower on a stout motor.
No, I didn't know about
Yeah, the
this.
bigger the engine, the bigger the piston, the more valuable it is.
Hadley says, I want to paint the old man 72 Nova, but can't come to what color. Should be any thoughts on what color you would do as a two-tone?
What color
Two-tone
was it?
72 Nova.
Well, picture the duster,
Yeah.
two-tone. See, I like blue and white is a good combination, like a blue body with a white top.
Yeah.
What do you like?
A 72?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many good color combinations.
Geez, I don't know, man.
I want to know what color it was originally. See, that always pulls me one direction or the other, because when you open up the trunk and everything, you don't have to redo everything unless you got it on a rotisserie or something. But you know, original colors, a lot of times they're the best.
Dan Niles. Hey, Tony. Is exhaust scavenging with headers and collector length still important in a supercharged application, or is it just a restriction now that it is pressurized?
Depends on how much boost, how much you're blowing through the motor. You're running, let's say a 671, and you're only running, let's say, a crankshaft to like 10 over, then yeah, the scavenging qualities of an exhaust count. When you start to move real volume through it, you know, you're running a heavy volume fuel like alcohol or nitromethane, or even just a lot of gasoline and a lot of boost, you know, let's say you're running at 15 over, 20 over, then at that point the collector becomes a restriction, and that's where you would go to Zumiez.
74 Charger says, what's your opinion on the Gen 4 Charger and gaining value?
Define Gen 4 Charger, because,
Sounds like a Mitsubishi.
well, some people would consider, okay, Gen 1, 66, 67, Gen 2, 68 to 70, Gen 3, now you could look at it this way, 71, 72 is different than 73, 74. So
But they're very similar.
they're similar, but if you're a Charger...
Well, his
affects
name
you
is
now-
74 Charger, so.
What's that?
His name is 74 Charger, so.
Oh, okay, all right.
I think
Yeah,
that's what
They
he's
have a
talking about.
roof line.
The 73, 74 Charger has a 71, 72 satellite roof.
Yeah, it sure looks like it, doesn't
That's
it?
what it is. A lot of
Okay.
people don't realize it, and they disguised it by putting that boomerang. Okay, so there's two roofs. There's the SE roof with the three louvers, right? And then there's the regular Charger, you know, the hardtop roof. And either roof is a 71, 72 satellite roof. But on the Charger hardtop, they disguise it with this boomerang piece of chrome that makes it look like it's curved, but it's actually not. It's the 71, 72 satellite roof. The value of them, that's hard to say.
So is that considered as the fifth generation?
No, it's fourth.
It's still
73,
fourth gen-
74 is fourth generation.
Okay, yeah, that's,
But some people would say that the Cordoba bodied Charger would be the fourth generation.
oh, I forgot about those.
See, yeah, it depends on how you look at it. I consider 73, 74 the fourth generation.
Danny Boyd wants to know, have you ever used those custom spray bombs you get from the body shop supply place?
I have not.
Custom.
I'm not even sure, but I know I've never used one. Because I would know if I used it.
Poor Russell Finch is 111 days in lockdown in Melbourne. He's losing his mind.
Jeez,
Jeez.
Sorry, Russell. He says nothing is open.
you can't leave the house?
No
How do you
coffee,
eat? Where do you get
restaurants,
food?
hardware, nothing except supermarkets.
Oh, supermarkets.
That sucks, Russell.
That's rough.
Hang in there.
Yeah, we were locked down here for like a couple of weeks. It was pretty hairy.
Dan Mills Mopars. I overrevved my 73-400 Charger and went down on one cylinder for a minute, then returned to normal. Any ideas?
You probably overpumped one of the lifters on that cylinder when you overrevved it, right?
That's about all I can think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't think of anything you said that.
Yeah,
of
it
course.
valve floated, it pumped up one of those two lifters.
It's stuck open.
Yeah, it stuck open and it took a little while for it to settle back down again. Nothing to worry about.
Don't do it again.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, you should have tried to avoid it. It's
the
the
cat-
Soto, the cat.
Cat's
The cat,
back.
the Soto.
Brandon Meyer says his life's complete now that Uncle Tony answered his question. Let's see. Robbie D. Durham says 74 Roadrunner with stock 78, 360, two barrel carb, 727 runs 17-second quarter mile. What should I do to get it into the 14s?
It's a 74 Roadrunner.
Stock 78, 360, two barrel carb, 727. Runs 17 and a quarter.
What's a cam timing like?
Yeah, the 78 has got, yeah, the 78 is actually ground retarded.
The dogs are going crazy.
That basic combination to run, okay, the Roadrunner, it's got automatically got a 321 rear in it. Assuming it was a 318 car to start with, 318, 340, he would automatically have, with 360, would automatically have a 321 gear in it. So you got a good gear in the rear of the car. You can't, seriously, just the simple basics, cam, intake, headers. Those three things, you know, you want like an 800 Edelbrock is a good carburetor for that, for a driver. 750 Holly or an 800 Edelbrock, either one of those, and that'll get you where you want to be. And the distributor, very important, you got to curve that distributor. If you're using the 1978 distributor, it's slow, it has like no curve to it at all, so you want to do the distributor.
Can you use water to remove carbon knock?
People do that,
Do what?
water to remove carbon.
I've heard. Yeah, you guys used to do that stuff in the '70s when I was first driving.
Yeah, that was a common, that was
Hey, like an old Wybach 312 and revving up the water
yeah,
in there.
that was like a common tune-up procedure. Like you're gonna tune the car up after you rev it up and you pour water down the carburetor. And then you watch the exhaust and like all kinds of shit comes out of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It works. It works.
He's saying that Nova was forest green, but now he wants to do a two-tone.
What is forest green? Is that
I would do
like
Two-tone green.
two-tone green.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do a
that can be
two-tone
really
green.
pretty.
You say
Yeah.
dark green and not green.
That would
Or
be
a
hot.
darker green and a medium green.
That would be hot. Yeah, do the darker green on the bottom and like maybe a mint green over the top.
Something they go together. One's darker, another's lighter.
Yeah, go with two-tone green. That would be hot.
Just keep the colors close.
Keep the colors close.
Yeah. Let's see. Go check on the children, the dogs. Yeah, they just stopped barking. I don't know.
They're all right.
They do that. This
They ran out
screaming
of
thing.
breath.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you put silicone in your freeze plugs?
No,
What do you put?
Nothing. nothing.
Every guys put shellac.
I clean. I clean.
I've never put any. Do you use brass or you use steel?
Either one.
Either one.
Either one.
Yeah, I've never put anything.
Can we tell the season changed when you guys will be back at the gas station? Yeah, it's starting to get cold
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. No, freeze plugs, generally speaking, the factory doesn't use anything on them. I don't use anything on them. You know, and that's providing that when you pop the old freeze plugs out, you don't see any pitting or weirdness, you know, in the casting. If the casting looks good, then just put them in dry because that's the way the factory did it.
Clean.
Clean. Got to make sure it's clean.
Everything. Every place there's a gasket. I watch people break thermostat housings because they didn't get it clean and when they, you know, and the thermostat
Yep.
housing snaps because there's some little
Yep.
thing under there.
John Strobel is asking, do you recall building a 440 for Plum Crazy 68 Charger about 12 to 15 years ago?
Where were you? Here?
12 to 15. I was here in Tennessee.
Plum Crazy 68 Charger? I'm trying to think. I don't recall that.
I might have.
I would have remembered that.
Well, I maybe I built a 440 for somebody. I
And
don't
then
what
you
car
didn't
it
know
was.
what car it was going
Yeah.
in. Yeah, that's
I
possible.
don't know. It's possible.
Sounds like a chicken's loose in the house now. No,
Oh,
they
man,
do
you ever
that.
had a chicken and the dogs?
The dogs just go crazy like that. They go into this howling fest.
Howling fest.
Yeah.
Let's see. Joseph Giannini says, remember when they had that bronze-colored duster back in the day? Bronze.
Who?
Who? Wait, who, Joseph? Who?
Or maybe he just means it was available.
Bronze?
Bronze colored duster.
Root beer was always a nice color.
Root beer? Yeah,
Yeah.
root beer's nice.
The dogs ran out of chicken meat. Let's see.
Every once in a while, there was one of those years where they had a color just the one year. You know what I mean? Something special.
What about brake fluid to unseize a stuck motor?
Man,
It doesn't
to
have
me, it was always like keep brake fluid away from the engine. Now I'm seeing guys using it into an engine.
I've used brake fluid to swell seals. You know what I mean? You got a rear seal, it's like just a slight drip. You can throw some brake fluid in the oil and it'll swell the seal and stop the drip for a while.
PB
No,
blaster.
I wouldn't use brake fluid as a penetrating fluid. I would use the penetrating fluid as a penetrating fluid.
Do you like PB blaster?
I love PB Blaster.
Yeah, that's to me. That's one of the best. And
I'm hooked on it now. I was a WD guy forever.
you know, I used to. You know, how Mazda rotary looks. Those side seals.
Yeah.
You know, okay, they get stuck in there, and I'd struggle getting those things out. And what I started doing was draining a couple of quarts of oil out of the engine if the engine was running. Drained a couple of quarts out, put marble in there to refill it back up to full, and then run the engine for about an hour. No load on it, just run it.
Yeah.
And then those side seals will come right out of there.
Well, I used to do that when engines I was going to rebuild, but I would use transmission fluid.
See, I think the marble's better than the transmission fluid, but I don't know. A lot of people do use transmission fluid.
Transmission
But
fluid
of
is
course,
very
there's
solid.
all different kinds of transmission fluid.
Yeah. Well, it's just regular,
But Type A, can you even get Type A anymore? Or,
you mean Type F.
well, F has got an abrasive in it.
It's got the shellac for the Ford clutches.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Shellac? I always thought it was some kind of abrasive. Yeah, I don't know. I stay away from that stuff unless it's in a transmission.
No, if you're gonna tear a motor down,
Yeah, tell me what you use.
if it's a running motor, right? Drain most of the oil out, leave like a quart or two in there, and then throw 2 or 3 quarts of ATF in, and just let the thing sit and idle. Don't drive it like
Don't
that.
put a load on
Right,
it.
don't put a load on it, but you can let it sit there and idle for like an hour or so. And when you shut it off and you go to drain out what's you won't believe what comes out of there. Don't do that unless you're going to pull the motor out and pull it apart. Because I'm telling you, whatever sludge is inside the motor ends up in the pan. And if you try to drive it after that without actually dropping the pan, or you'll clog the. Don't do that. But if you're going to rebuild the engine, you want it clean on the inside. Throw a couple of quarts of ATF in there and just let it sit and run for an hour.
Should I go check the dogs?
They're fine.
Okay. Let's see. Francisco says, I have an '09 Pontiac G8 GT and it's throwing out white smoke out of the exhaust. I have fuel spark and I don't have an exhaust leak. I did a compression test and everything checked out.
A compression test won't always show you a blown head gasket between a water jack and a combustion chamber.
God, how bad is it?
It's blowing white smoke.
Do they have a power brake? Tradition G8 Pontiac. I'm not that familiar with them. Do they have a traditional power brake? Where if you could get brake fluid down in there?
To do what?
Well, if it sucks it into the intake manifold. Of course, he'd know that. He'd be out of brakes.
Yeah, no, that's not it. No, yeah, I'm telling you,
It's an engine problem.
it's an engine problem. It's a head gasket.
Are they outside?
Who?
The dogs. Who's barking? Is that our dog or next door?
It's next door.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jeff
Well,
says,
it'd be coolant.
oh, sorry.
One of the, go ahead.
That's okay.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Jay, what
No,
did
go
Jeff
ahead.
say?
No. He's talking about moving to Tennessee. What's the prices like?
One of the things that used to happen with the GM cars a lot was a modulator would rupture.
Yeah, then you pull oil out of the transmission.
Yeah, you were driving down the road and all of a sudden
Yeah.
tons of white smoke come out the back of it because the transmission
Yeah.
modulator would go.
And I guess if it's when you first start it, it's almost always coolant that's coming through a head gasket or a cracked head or something. But it usually disappears.
But a compression test won't always show you that there's a crack in the head gasket, a break in the head gasket like that.
Yeah, it bleeds too slowly.
Yes.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
The
just
dogs are
babbling.
distracting
We're just
me.
babbling.
Okay. Mr. Shy Guy says, so my dad passed away and left me in 1967 Torino GT 390 4-speed. 40,000 original miles, no rust. Is worth a few bucks. Hasn't ran since 1979.
Did he say 390?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Sure. That's a nice car.
Man, I'd like to have that.
Yeah, talk to Buff.
Hang on to that thing. Treat it gently, except once in a while. Keep it. What a great car.
Oh, get the cat off the tire.
Oh no, the cat's gonna rip the sidewall off the tire. Get out of there.
Robbie D. Durham sent $5.
Thanks,
Says,
Robbie.
thanks again for the advice on the 78 360. Love you guys. You're like family, but nicer. Awesome, Robbie.
We're nicer.
Well, the cat. Sorry, guys. The cat.
Cat likes that tripod.
Yeah, hit the tripod. Let's see.
Need to buy a cat a tripod.
I know. Andy wants to know, you put any thought into flywheel weight affecting horsepower?
Oh, I didn't. That was a great discussion the other night. But no, I haven't thought about it since.
The cat's gonna hit it again.
I love that when you have these lives and somebody throw out a question and it's like, wait a minute, I have to rethink my whole life now. You know?
Oh, I'm rethinking the whole. I can't go there. There's too many questions.
I ordered. It'll be here this week. I ordered a G-Tech Pro.
Oh, you said you ordered one.
Yes, I ordered it today.
I think I saw that on a video or something.
Yeah, I know. I
Okay.
actually ordered it today, and we'll have that in a couple of days. There's the Draggy, but that uses it's cheaper. The Draggy is cheaper, but you need a phone app to work with that. Where the G-Tech is like self-contained.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that. But
Okay.
okay,
And you just move it from one car to another.
yeah, it's self-contained.
Let's see. Advice for buying my first classic car, please.
Oh man. Let's see. Where do you start? Are you comfortable with tools? You just would dive in and fix anything. It almost
Well,
doesn't matter what you get.
Well, it
If
does.
you're
It
not,
does.
if you're not, man, get something that's already there. You
Stick
know?
with economy class cars. Stick with Ford Falcons, Chevy Nova, Dodge Dart, Plymouth Valiant, AMC, Rambler, or any of those cars. Stick with economy level cars.
I don't agree with that.
To start with, because those are the simplest ones. They have the least parts. They have the most parts availability. The easiest ones to get parts for. They're the easiest ones to master your skills. You know, your tinkering skills. Because if you're going to get a classic car of any sort, right? God knows you will always be tinkering with it. There will always be something. You know, it's a lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yep, you're right. Don't go out and get a Cadillac or a Buick or
Right.
something like that because there's too much to go wrong and everything goes wrong. You'll be overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dart.
Yeah.
Really
You're
good
going to get your feet
idea.
wet in the
Chevy
classic.
Nova. Really good idea.
You're going to get your feet wet in the classic car thing. Absolutely. Stick with economy level cars.
On the Ford side, Maverick, Falcon, maybe. Man, Mustang's so expensive. Yeah.
More questions, Uncle Kathy?
Okay. The Norm says, in one of your vids, you said you do not like using an advanced timing light. Did you have trouble on an MSD ignition, or you had trouble with the advanced lights?
I had problems with the advanced lights. I've had them where they were all over the map. I haven't used one since, I don't know, probably the 80s.
What do you use?
Just a regular, I don't use a dial back. I just use a regular timing light. A regular
I
strobe.
had it in my hand, but it was dark. I didn't see what it
Yeah.
was. Just an old-fashioned timing light.
Just regular timing light. I got
Yeah,
a few
somebody
of them here
stole
and
mine. I had an old Sun, just a trigger,
there. Yeah.
and
Well,
it
they're all
was somebody went away with it.
bastards. Yeah, dial back lights are notorious. It's not just me. They're notoriously inaccurate and fickle.
Jory T says, hello, love the channel. I'm looking forward to actually using your channel for information rather than entertainment. My girlfriend and I are considering an AMC Javelin. Any advice on the Javelin?
Buy one that's mostly intact because finding parts is a bitch. Anything as far as like trim, interior parts, body parts, you have a hard time.
Yeah, things like steering column and things like engine or transmission. Well, the engine's AMC, but transmission, steering column, stuff came from other manufacturers. So that stuff's
Well,
Oh, steering gear, same thing.
Well,
General Motors.
the nice thing about dealing with AMC products of that era is that Jeeps of that era also use all those parts, and they're extremely popular. So there's almost nothing you can't find, like almost immediately for AMC motors. You know, the 304 to 360. They were all used in Jeeps. So they have a very strong aftermarket, you know, support. But body stuff is a nightmare. You know, God forbid you need to find a back window for this car or something like that. You're not going to find it. So keep that in mind. But I happen to love AMCs.
I only bought 2 new cars in my life. An AMC Matador and this Mazda.
There you go.
The Matador, I love that car.
Dan Niles says, okay, so how much would you calculate? Oops, it just jumped on me, sorry. How much would you calculate how much head flow you need to get complete cylinder bore fill at the RPM you want with a given displacement, and how do you match the cam to it?
Well, I'm not a floor bench guy, so I could not tell you what CFM would have to be. You would have to flow to for a complete cylinder fill and something like that.
Man.
That's a question I think you want to go over and ask Richard Holder.
Richard Holden, that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. I didn't know if you want to mention another
Oh, sure.
YouTube channel. Richard Holden.
I would, if there's any way to contact him and ask him that question, I would say that's, but no, I'm not a floor bench guy, I could not give you CFM numbers for a complete fill.
Richard Holden does a live once a week, Friday night, Saturday night. I forget which.
I don't know, go watch
Friday
his
night.
channel. He announces when
And
he does
he's
live.
really good about answering questions, very specific questions like that.
Let's see, James III, are tubular control arms worth the money?
Not as far as, I mean, you see, again, I'm a straight liner, I've never in my life taken any type of cornering into consideration on anything I've ever owned. So I'm the wrong guy to ask for that. So if you've asked me, my answer is no. Why would you want to do something like that? But you talk to a guy who's into handling and does, like, you know, autocross or swervy stuff like that, and they'll tell you they're worth it. So, you know.
Or if it's all apart, you got both parts, weigh them. See which one's
Well,
lighter.
the tubular is going to be lighter.
Okay, with the tubular, but it may be a lot of money, you know.
Oh, Baron sent $5. Thanks, Baron.
Thanks, Baron.
Tony, I don't care if they ban me in the chat. They can't ban my American spirit.
They cannot ban your American
Trump
spirit, Baron.
2020, California for Trump. Fight as if your life depends on it.
Jeez.
Thank you, Baron.
Baron's got the fighting spirit. Baron's going to start his own revolution.
Is this election almost over? Is it almost over?
You know what? November 4th
Can't get
is
here
going to
soon
be
enough.
so good.
The third. It's going to be the
third.
third.
It'll be all over.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I know, unless it goes on like Florida 2000.
Right.
Hanging chads. Oh my
I
God.
don't think the commies are going to go down without a fight.
All right. Let's see, no politics.
Okay.
November 4th is my sister's birthday.
Is it?
She's going to have a good birthday present. The politics are mostly over. Oh,
Okay.
God. You know, I tonight I sent you a text, you know, going through my text, like going, trying to find you, and there's like 500 political texts
Really?
that I can't delete them fast enough.
I know, it's pretty rough. It's been a rough
Oh,
couple months.
God.
A rough year.
You got to do what I do. Just don't look at your phone.
Well, except I need my phone sometimes.
I
you know?
need it too. I just don't look
I
at it.
text you guys to say, okay, where are you gonna be? Do you want me to come down here tonight? Whatever, you know.
Let's see.
So I was looking for the last time I texted you. It was way back.
I just hope everybody gets through this next couple weeks, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever your affiliation. Let's see.
I got a good friend gonna go in for open heart surgery this next week. Man. See, there are things worse.
Absolutely.
He says they're gonna do something to his heart and take this valve out, and they're gonna replace it with a valve in a part of the aorta from a cow or a pig.
Hey, yeah.
And then he goes, easy peasy. I'm thinking, yeah. I'd rather take an engine apart. Oh,
see.
man.
Hammer Time says I come here to get away from politics. Most people do, Hammer Time.
Ah.
I think we come here to get away from politics.
Yeah, I come here to get away from politics.
It's pretty brutal out there. Let's see. Jaron Simpson says, will a performance intake and slightly bigger carb give my Buick V6 noticeably more power?
I messed with a Buick V6 for a magazine. We did a magazine. Sorry.
I thought you said for
Okay.
a magazine.
We-
For a magazine.
We did a magazine project car back in like 1986 or whatever, and it was Buick had given us a Regal with a 231, normally aspirated, and we did headers, cam, intake. I think we did heads. No, actually we did heads too. We did all sorts of stuff, and it was still a stone.
I had guys that had those things at Turbo ones.
Yeah.
They loved them.
Oh, the turbo works great, but
Yeah.
normally aspirated, man, you're probably wasting your time with it, honestly.
Johnny Donchev sent $4.99.
Thank you.
I have a 74 Ranchero with a 351 Cleveland. I want to make 500 to 600 horsepower with a couple grand max. What should I do?
Oh. Well, big old low compression
That's
retarded engine.
I mean, 500 horsepower out of a normally aspirated 351 Cleveland is. Yeah, I mean, you're asking a lot. It's that's an easy 350 to 400 horsepower motor, and then once you go past that, then
It's the same thing. Cam timing, headers, intake.
yeah. But what happens is once you ask a 351 cubic inch engine with old school technology to make that 500
Oh, you're not
horsepower.
gonna make 500.
Oh, you'll make it. But
Not like
it won't
that.
be
No,
streetable.
not $2,000.
No.
No, but you can make a pretty snappy engine for $2,000. But it's going to be cam timing. Oh, distributor.
Dirty
Me too.
Knob sent you $2.
Thank you.
UTG, are you ready to be sworn in on November 5th?
Well, it isn't November
Not
5th.
this year, but 2024, we are going to be running Uncle Tony for president.
Oh,
And,
bro.
you know, we've already said my
Yeah,
campaign.
Uncle Tony for
We're
president, right.
we're gonna campaign on, the survivors
Tony.
will live in total harmony. That's my campaign slogan, and that's actually the only statement I'll make through the campaign.
That's it.
That's it. That's the only thing, I have to say. The
Will
survivors
that
will
big
live.
presidential limousine have a him in it?
Nah. I'm gonna
Okay,
go
440.
with presidential, luxury, right? But yeah, the
The box
survivors,
truck?
the survivors will live in total harmony.
You'll have to fly.
No, I'm not gonna fly. They'll bring all those people to me. I'm the president.
Okay,
I
I
can
see.
nuke them if I want to. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? You bring your shit here to me,
Okay.
and bring me food while you're at it.
Max says, hello, Tony. I'm finishing a real rebuild on my 74 Challenger. It has a 318 with a 904 and an 8 3/4 rear end, all original. If I want to reach 500 horsepower,
Well, everybody wants 500 horsepower. You guys watch too much
should
TV.
I stick with the 318 or go with the 360 Gen 3? Thanks.
Gen 3.
A 360 or a Gen 3, thanks.
Well,
Gen
yeah,
3.
Gen 3. Yeah, the 360 is good for 400, just like the 351 Cleveland. 400 streetable horsepower, no problem. You can do that. 500. See, people watch too much TV and they got these numbers in their heads. Oh, it's going to be 500 horsepower, 600 horsepower, 800 horsepower, 900 horsepower, 1400 horsepower. For a streetable engine, old school, all right, normally aspirated, once you clear that 400 horsepower mark, it becomes exponentially harder and more complicated to make more. The Gen 3 has much, it's a much more power-friendly architecture as far as the cylinder heads and everything goes. So that's the direction I would go.
You know the other thing. Well, this is old school shit. What we used to do. You get around 400 horsepower, that's money. You just go to lower gears and rear end. Oh
Well,
my
yeah,
God!
yeah,
On
but-
the street, that just changes everything.
But a lot of people don't take into consideration is, without traction control, you go
Well-
over 400 horsepower on the street and you try to hook it consistently, right? It ain't gonna happen. You make 400 horsepower and the car is gonna run 1260 or 1250, whatever it is, right? You make 500 horsepower, the car's gonna run the same 1250, 1260 because you're spinning the fucking tires. Make 700 horsepower with that, and again, no traction control or anything, and now you're gonna go 13.0. because you're gonna slow the thing down because you're gonna spend the whole time going on the track and it's just
But you
not on the
know,
hook.
these new cars that have 6, 7, 800 horsepower, they all have traction control.
Yeah.
And that's why they work.
Or they look at like the drift guys, which is just let
Oh,
the
they go
tires
sideways.
spin.
They go
yeah,
sideways.
you know, so yeah, okay. But you got the lighter?
Jaron Simpson sent $5. He says, "Thanks for answering my question. I love my Buick Turd 31."
Turd 31.
Hey Yo says, "Come on, Kathy." Am I getting yelled at over here? Early Hemi heads on poly blocks. What works and what doesn't?
Early Hemi heads on poly blocks.
The Chrysler Hemi head works on the Spitfire block, the Chrysler poly block, and the Dodge Hemi head works on the Red Ram poly block. Those are the only poly and Hemi interchanges.
That's it?
That's
You
it.
finished?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, Johnny says, "Okay, let's forget the 500 horsepower. What should I do with that $2,000 to make myself a fun car off the line? I'm new to classics and have been loving your channel."
355 to 391 gears. Actually, you know, bang for the buck, gears and converter will get you, you know, how much do you have to spend? $2,000?
Yeah.
Gears and converter is $1,000.
You gotta do something about that cam timing.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
man, that's
Gears,
Terrible.
converter, cam, intake, and carb. That's going to eat up all your 2,000, maybe a little bit more. But that's and ignition, the distributor. You know, don't
But you
forget
can do
the
that
distributor.
cheap. You can do
You
that
can do the
cheap.
distributor yourself. Just
Yep.
just Google how to curve a distributor. We did videos on it, so you know you can look back on the videos that we've done on them. And yeah, $2,000. Gears, converter, intake, carb, cam. There you go. You can tune that into be a very fun car.
I think he wants to go in. Charles F. says, "I think in one of your recent videos, you mentioned a crank that wasn't straight. How or what do you measure to see that?" Let me bring him in. Come on.
I use a dial indicator.
Run out of the dial indicator.
Yeah.
You know, I was watching a video, and one of my radiator shops next door was a crank grinder. And that guy used to straighten cranks like that.
With a hammer.
With a
I
hammer.
know.
And he'd tink, 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 and then check the run out, tink, tink, tink,
Yep.
check the run out, and then he'd have it. And I'd be, "Man, you can do that? That's good." And he'd go, "Oh, it's perfect," you know?
That's the truth.
So you get a good crank grinder, and they can probably
They
fix it.
straighten them with a hammer. I have
Yeah.
straightened them with a hammer. Of course, if you do a video like that, you'll have every expert on the planet come out and say, "Oh, no, he's beating that crank
Oh.
with a hammer. It's a piece of shit now."
This,
No, that's how you straighten a crank. You beat the fucking thing on the counterweights with a hammer until it's straight.
this guy was an old crank grinder that knew his shit. And I watched him do it.
I know. I know. I
He's the guy that caught my, and you told me, "Oh, you must have had a Ford with the hole that was drilled
yeah,
wrong,
well, yeah.
and it was way off center and barely catching the rod bearing." And he was the one that, yes, "Come here, I gotta show you your crank," you know, and he chamfered that thing way off to one side to try to get some more oil to that one bearing.
Yeah. But yeah, I just use a dial indicator.
Todd Allen says, "Got a 51 DeSoto coupe that was sitting for 46 years. The flat six has more brass solder than actual block. Recommendations on a swap?"
Wait a minute, what year is it?
51 DeSoto
51.
coupe.
That should be the regular, like the floating power 6. That was like the standard Chrysler 6 for years, up until 1960 when they replaced it with the Slane 6. And even then, they used that engine into the mid 60s in Canada and industrial applications. So that's if you fall into any circle of vintage Mopar people, you should be able to find a replacement for that, no problem.
Man.
Those are great.
You know, it's almost funny. I look at 1959, Plymouths and Dodges, and big fins in the back, all this space age
With a little
stuff.
flathead.
Open up the hood,
Yeah.
there's a flathead 6 in there. It's like, really? Yeah, I've driven a few of those. Really
Mike-
strange.
Mike N says, "I noticed what looks like a ball of steel wool inside the distributor shaft under the rotor. Is this normal?
No.
Yeah.
What's it for? Thanks
What
for
is
all
that?
the great info for us backyard
What?
mechanics."
What is this?
If you take the rotor off and
Yeah.
you look down inside,
Oh,
it's got a wadding
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that's just to hold oil. You throw a drop or two of oil in there, and then drop the rotor back on.
I've never seen that.
Yeah. That's to lubricate the advance mechanism.
One I used to get was, the first thing I learned to do on my car. The thing was running like shit. And I pulled into a gas station. My father knew the guy that owned the gas station. I told him. He comes over and he pulls out my dipstick and just a little bit of oil on his finger and puts it on the cam and the distributor
Yep.
and start it up, and it's perfect. He says, go get some, distributor cam lube. And I did. That was the beginning of it all. That day. Yeah.
The big old Ford F-150 says, how y'all doing? I have a Lincoln Mark V with a 460. What should I do to get 1 horsepower per inch?
Just same thing. That cam timing on those Fords is terrible.
Yeah.
I had a 429 Ford, 1972, first year for all the no compression, really retarded timing and all that. I advanced the time. I used a timing set from like a 69 Thunderbird or something. It advanced the timing 6 degrees. Oh my God, what a difference.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah,
What
the
a
distributor,
difference.
the distributor makes a big difference.
And
I
then-
can't tell you specifically how to get 1 horsepower per cube out of it.
And then I put heads on it from like a 68 or 9 Thunderbird and recurved the distributor. Still left it stock exhaust, stock intake, everything. And that thing, it was on a 5,000 pound Torino station wagon. And that thing would go 90 miles an hour is all it would do. Like, I need to go that fast. But after I did those simple things, just 120 and right on through it like it was nothing, And it quit burning so much fuel. I don't know if it was one probably wasn't 1 horsepower per cubic inch, but it made a tremendous difference.
Arizona Angler says, hey again. Looking at maybe swapping my heads down the road. Is pulling an engine really as bad as everyone makes it seem?
What kind of car do you have?
I don't remember.
Why are you gonna pull the engine and change the heads? You can do that in the car.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I know this. Because I've been outside. It's, when you change heads, it's always in the middle of winter. You know that? And you're out there with a torque wrench, and the shirt pulls out, and the wind's blowing up your back.
Jacob Hicks sent $5.
Thanks, Nick.
Hi, Uncle Tony. Rebuilding my 383 and my 68 Fury. What's your opinion on upgrading to a roller cam while it's all apart or sticking with a flat tappet?
It's a good idea. If you can afford it, because it's gonna cost you a bunch of money for a retro roller setup, you be prepared to spend about $1,000. But, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it, just for the peace of mind, to not have to go, not worry about oil, not even just not playing roulette on a bad fucking set of lifters. I would, yeah. If you can afford it, do it.
I have never done it. I know there's a crossbar thing, I don't know what you call it, that keeps the rollers in line. How much do they move? They don't.
You know,
It's really, really tight.
yeah.
Let's see. Gordon says 75, 440, great cold start, crappy restart, warmer cold. Where do I start to improve the restart?
It's generally a carburetor problem. And you're not being specific about the restart. There's too many. I think there's too many questions for me to answer. Too many questions I would have to answer that effectively here. But it's going to be in the carburetor.
What's up, Ron
What
Ward?
car was it?
Ron Ward. It's Ron Ward. Doesn't matter what kind of
Ron
carburetor
Ward.
it is.
Oh, it matters
said
if
it's
it's
a
fuel
440.
injection. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Carburetor 440.
No one answered my question.
Oh,
Who's Hulk Hogan guy here? Is he helping with the Gambler 500?
Hulk Hogan. I'm Hulk Hogan. Fattest, shortest Hulk Hogan ever. Jeez.
That's Buff Del Campo.
The Buff Del Campo. I'm sure you guys, who've been around, you know the name, Buff Del Campo.
Tony, which of your dogs is fastest in the 60?
Oh, Lily.
Lily.
Yeah.
We've had to chase
Lily's a
Lily.
rocket.
What's up, Frank? Let's see. Cool Chuckin says I have a 1971 Ford Torino with a 347 stroker. Doing pit. I'm sorry, I don't know what that word is. Doing pit a blow through carburetor or EFI blow through. I think that You had a typo. And I
Oh,
can't,
unified blow through, I know what that is.
yeah, I can't decipher that.
Spell it out.
It says 71 Ford Torino with a 347 stroker doing, and this is how he wrote it, pit a blow through carburetor.
Spell it.
P-I-T,
Pit.
a blow, A-B-L-O-W, through
Oh,
carburetor.
Put a blow through carburetor.
Oh, okay.
There's some typos.
Yeah, there's
okay.
some typos. Sometimes
Or
it's
go with EFI.
hard to read. Sorry. Yeah, I think
Put a
that's what he
blow
means.
Yeah, the blow through carburetor is the simplest way to do it.
Okay, put a blow through carburetor. That's better.
That's no extra charge for deciphering.
What's up,
He
Vince?
ciphered it, you deciphered it.
Let's see. Tony, will you ever do a 4x4 build? I'd love to see a CJ in your garage.
No, I'm not into transfer cases, and no.
Oh.
How do you winterize a classic car for a season?
I don't know. I drive them all winter. I don't even really know, to tell you the truth.
Put it in the garage.
Yeah, fill up the gas tank, throw some stable in there, and go out and start it every couple of few weeks. Just start it, let it get warm, make sure you let it get warm, otherwise you're going to rot your exhaust system and have all kinds of condensation inside the engine. But I mean, that's,
Check your coolant, see if it's any good. The way you do that, take the cap off. You have a brass radiator, take a voltmeter, stick one probe in the coolant, put the other one on the brass part of the filler neck, see if you have 0.05 volts or more. If you do, the coolant's got too much acid in it. It's time to get rid of it, put the coolant.
that is a great tech tip. I
did
never
that.
thought of that.
Did that for years. Yeah, you start producing voltage out of the
That's
coolant,
a video.
you got a problem.
Oh, we got to do that.
Okay.
We need to do that video. That's great.
I have my voltmeter with. You want to change all your coolant tonight? No, sometimes you see cars that have a lot more than 0.05 volts, and then now you've got a battery going, and you're moving aluminum and
Well, that's what
everything
happens.
around inside that radiator. You're clogging up the heater core. You're making a mess out of it.
Well, no, listen. That's what happens. You get a lot of these like engines, like the Ford, the V6, the 3.8 V6. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of engines that are prone to head gasket failures. The North Star was one of them, right?
Oh yeah, and the 3.8 was.
Right. And what that is that as the antifreeze breaks down and begins to conduct electricity,
Yes.
there's an electrolysis process that happens between the head gasket, the aluminum block, or the steel block, and the aluminum cylinder head with the stainless head gasket. Those three metals conduct electricity, and it etches out the stainless on the head gasket, and that's why those things leak the way they do. That's a
Now-
great video.
Since then, we've gone to plastic and aluminum radiator, so you can't really do that. And I'd have to do some research to figure out
You
how
can,
to.
you
how
can
to do
ground
that.
it to the engine.
You'd have to
and
ground
stuff.
it to the engine
Yeah.
or something, but you can, and there's all these new coolants. But this is traditional old coolant, which I really like. And, yeah, you can't have acid in there.
Yes, more questions, Uncle Kathy.
What's up, Mopar Den?
Hey, Mopo Den.
Let's see. Dakota's timeout. You got any videos up at Dakota yet? Is
Yeah, go on your channel at least a couple of times a week and there's no video.
there a reason people stroke a 302 instead of just using a 351W? Isn't it only an inch and a half wider?
351 Windsor. I never had trouble putting one in anything. I guess in the old Fords that had the shock towers, they get kind of close. But, there's suspension options. I don't know. I used to put 351 Windsors in everything. It's my favorite
I
engine.
think people just do it because the 302 is so available.
Maybe. I guess.
It's easier to buy to buy a crank than to go find a whole other engine.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Johnny says, thank you for the advice. Where should I buy the parts for the 351? I'm in Knoxville. Should I buy new or used for cheaper? You've mentioned buying original parts in your other vids.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you where to buy stuff. That's the kind of thing. It's just your network of friends. Who's got what and what you can get a deal for. I couldn't really.
Okay, let's see.
You don't really like the Windsor 351 Windsor.
I love the Windsor,
Okay.
but most
But the
of
302 is already there, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time. The cars I got, they didn't run.
Paul wants to know aluminum intake or cast iron.
On what?
Yeah, on what? I mean, the aluminum's got an advantage, and it's lighter and it's less of a heat sink.
The disadvantage with aluminum is sometimes they aren't available. Yeah, always aluminum. Yeah, some odd engine.
Could you do a video on the GM ignition module swap? Dumping the ballast resistor in orange box?
No.
No?
Don't have it. Don't have it.
There's other people who do that. I don't do that. I don't crossbreed parts.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, or that you shouldn't do it. It's not something that I do, so I won't do it anyway.
They're talking to each other. Hang on.
Okay.
Are quick fuel carburetors any good? Have any experience using them?
I have no experience with them. I just use Hollies or Edelbrock's Carters.
Good night, Lazy A-Hole Ranch.
And again, see, that's not saying anything bad about them. I just don't,
Let's see. Tony, what's the biggest tires you use in your fleet?
What's that truck you got down there? The one with the value body on it?
we got eight
I'll
and
be
a half
right
by
back. Can you read for a minute?
8.5 by 28s on bottle rockets
Just
right
take it.
now.
Okay.
I mean, there's the car in the yard that I run on a 10-inch tire, but that's not anywhere near ready to go yet.
Okay, I don't have any questions up yet. I'm sorry. It's churning.
When it comes to things like tires, I'm a minimalist. I like to get away with as little as possible.
I gotta watch a stupid ad first.
Hang on, guys. We'll be right.
Okay. Why did that happen? Okay. It's there. Why am I not seeing questions? What the
You have
hell?
to click on live chat.
Oh my God, where is it?
Should
right there.
should say live chat here someplace. Hang on, guys.
It does. I just can't make it bring the questions up or the. What is wrong with this? This never happens.
You broke it.
I have no idea what's wrong. Ah, just go sit over there and struggle with it.
Remember last week? I did that.
Yeah, you went back
I
and
would do it
forth.
now, except I can't walk.
You can't walk.
I have a very hard time walking.
Watch, I'll kick this stupid thing. Okay. Where are they? I don't see any questions. Okay, they're laughing at me. First car, 73 Challenger Rally. Okay, oh God, this goes by so fast. Me again. Jory T, me again. Have you played with Magnum Series 5.2? Man, this just scrolls away. 5.2, 5.9 engines. I'm running 5.2 in my TJ, and I'm curious about getting gains without having to get someone to tune it. What gears would you use in a 65 Chrysler 742 83 4 rear end for highway driving?
Highway 294s.
Bubba's was having technical difficulties. Yeah, I sure am.
The 270s are pretty common, but the 294s is a little bit more flexible gear.
Lewis 351 Windsor now has Clevelore. He means Cleveland heads for aftermarket. Really? Because the water jackets don't meet up, but maybe they do make something like that. I don't know. Will GL5 gear oil mess up an old top loader 3-speed transmission?
I don't know.
Don't know. Hi, this is Roy 2020. Hi. I am in to performance dirt bikes. The best carb in our, don't go away. The best carb in our world is made by Lectern. They are not affected by altitude, temperature, or engine modifications. If you ever have free time, look it up. Yeah, people, hello, Buff. Yeah, I'm having trouble. You got it.
Buff, you're
This-
having a
this
lot
is
of trouble.
this is not my
This is Uncle
place.
Kathy's turf, man.
This is Uncle Kathy's turf, and I'm trying to take over. Okay, I got to keep moving. What was your first cars?
Mine was a 66 Charger.
Mine was a 64 Ford Galaxy. And then a lot of cars after that. Why does everyone not like the old Ford 400 big block? That was the M engine.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. Some people like them, some people don't. 273 tips for my 66. Old Crony's Garage. Hey, Buff. Hey, Old Crony. I don't know his first name. I should. Buff in the house. First car, 68 Pontiac Firebird 350. Power Glide. 391 gears. Broke everything I could break. Sold and bought a 68 GTX. Well, there you go. GG, thank you for inspiring me to find my parents their wedding car, a 77 Firebird Formula. They absolutely love it.
Nice.
Uncle Buff, have you tried Duluth ballroom jeans? Hell no. Let's see. Hulk Hogan must retire. We need Kathy back. Man, I'm about as far from Hulk Hogan as it gets. He's probably twice my height. Scroll up and it'll stop jumping. Yeah, it stopped jumping, but then it fades out. I don't know. This ZB keeps asking.
I'm lost. I have no idea what's
273
going on
tips.
there.
273 tips for my 66.
Is it a two-barrel 273 or is it a Commando 273?
Doesn't say anything. Just 273 tips for my 66.
Yeah, I mean, just
Oh my God. People write the craziest stuff. Need metal. I crap my girlfriend's neck for her. She's so relaxed she hasn't woken up in 4 days. She got rigor mortis by any chance? Steve Earl, are there benefits to sticking with a small block V8 over a big block?
weight is the big thing.
GL5, John Warbert says GL5 should be fine. It's just 75 W90.
It's the return of Uncle Kathy.
Oh, good. Uncle Kathy's back. You gotta. This is not where I belong.
Slaughtered the whole thing.
This is not where I
How do
belong.
you slaughter it?
I don't know. It was rough.
What'd you do, Buff?
I'm just trying to do that, and it's like impossible.
Trying to do you, and like it's just not going to happen. Only Uncle Kathy can be Uncle Kathy.
I belong in this seat where I don't have any responsibilities. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, I'm back. Hammer Time Racing says, thinking about building a Chevy 302, what's a good application for a high revving motor like that?
What kind of car to put in?
Yeah, I mean,
Camaro.
something light. Yeah, if you're going to do it with 302, I mean, why would you put it in anything but an early Camaro?
Yeah, 67 or 8 Camaro. A Trans Am car. Jeez. Do you remember the Trans Am racing series?
Yeah, I was a little kid.
Yeah, I was a teenager. Yeah.
Max with the 74 Challenger again, and he says, I basically want to burn a bit of rubber into second gear. Mind you, I have a 904 auto. What do I need to do to a 360 to burn rubber through years?
Start it up. I mean, it's like
Okay.
not a whole bunch. A basic hot rod tuning stuff. You know, I mean, I have no idea what cam intake, ignition you're running on, I think. But I mean, curve the distributor. You got the stock distributor in there. You know, curve it. I don't know what you got as far as.
It's got an automatic in it. You just put a kit in the automatic so it barks it off. I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly, there's just so many questions I'd have to ask you on something like that.
I did that with a Pinto station wagon with a stock V6. Kitted the transmission, it'd bark off second pretty good. Not that that was any good for anything.
Ben is asking if we sell a John Dodge shirt in baby sizes. We don't. I have a screen for it that will not fit on a small t-shirt. I'm sorry. I'd have to make a completely new screen for it.
Do you make
Oh,
screens?
wait till
Yeah.
the kid gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the kids are gonna get bigger. The screen isn't gonna get smaller, but the kid will get bigger.
Yeah, I don't have any baby sizes. I would have to
Yeah.
make a
My
screen.
mother always bought clothes when we were little kids. They were
Three
too
sizes.
big. And they were worn out by the time we grew into them. They had holes in the pants. She put big patches on them.
Let's see.
Do you ever run around like that with your cuffs all rolled up and patches on everything? And
I got a giant hole in my
That was the
pants right now.
70s. Yeah, I meant to throw those out. I don't know why.
Picking a patch?
I gave them to you by accident. Let's see.
Put on Uncle Tony's sticker right there. It fit. UTG sticker.
In his pants.
It's about right.
Will you guys stop repeating yourselves? Who, us?
Did I give you the lighter, boo-boo?
Oh, hang on here. Oops, hang on. Hang on, everybody.
Thank you for cooperating.
Okay. Did you show the new t-shirt design yet? No, because they sent me the proof for it and I didn't like it, so I have to fix a couple things.
You're
So
very
no,
hard to
it's
please.
delayed.
You're very discriminating.
Who is this? Is this
I'm not printing that one. I sent it to a local shop to print.
Oh, okay.
I
It's
gave
not
them
the.
the
It's
design.
not the. Who's the deal that everybody uses on?
Teespring.
Oh no, we don't
It's
use
not
that
Teespring.
anymore.
Okay, that's
No, we're
all.
done with Teespring stuff.
No.
Yeah, because I got t-shirt from Teespring. Those.
Some shirts we print
Crap.
ourselves, and some I send to the shop because
Yeah.
I can't print
No more
everything.
Teespring stuff for us.
It's too much.
It's expensive too. It's
Is
crazy
it?
expensive, yeah.
I don't know. I've got a couple of like Teespring mugs from channels and stuff they locate with the shirtless.
Holly 650 double pumper, too much carb for 300 horsepower 302.
No, not at all. No,
Oh, that should be about right.
it's about right.
Okay. Ari says he still patches his jeans. I'm a cheap bastard, though. Aren't we all, Ari? Johnny wants to know, has Tony been a good husband or does he love his cars too much? No, he's very good.
I'm too good.
He's very good. Why are Mopar parts so expensive?
Because we hoard them all. Because we have all of our stuff.
Anybody watch Barrett Jackson last night?
No,
You didn't watch it?
no.
I watched
I
it.
canceled my cable about a year ago.
Okay.
Remember?
We watched it yesterday.
I guess it's probably on YouTube.
It was
somewhere.
depressing.
Was
There
it?
was like, yeah, everybody was wearing masks and like there was nobody in the crowd. Even the ass girl was wearing a mask.
The
There
one
was
girl?
nobody in the seats.
There's the ass girl. There's a one
The one that walks around and
Yeah.
puts the stickers
and the
on.
camera's always on her ass.
Yeah, I've noticed that. She wears black jeans.
But she went too far. They get progressively tighter and tighter and tighter until yesterday she literally couldn't move. Like if she had to like reach inside the car, she needed to lift a leg. She couldn't bend it.
Oh no.
You can't be serious, 03 says. I'm building a Gen 6 454 low RPM torque monster. But did I mess up by going with fender well headers with 2-inch primaries and 3.5-inch collectors?
2-inch primaries is pretty big. You know, 1 3/4 is more streetable, happier in lower RPM and the kind of volume that you're going to pull through on a street car. But no, it should be fine. Didn't you agree with that? Of course you would. Anyway. He's making his guppy face.
Could be
I'm
nice.
just thinking.
Let's see.
That's something you know way better than I do.
Too big a primary tube is just throwing torque away.
Yeah, I've watched stuff on Engine Masters. They use 1 5/8, 1.5 and I don't even remember the results.
You got to go with to effectively use a 2-inch primary tube. You need 500 cubic inches, way over like $7,000 to really actually put that to work.
What's the downside?
Less low end torque.
It really will have less.
Oh yeah.
Mike Ann wants to know, can I make up my own fusible link wire? What gauge wire
Sure.
should I use?
Get a fuse holder.
Oh yeah. Get really seriously. The fusible link is an old idea. I use them because the cars that I deal with originally had them, and I'm used to using fusible links. But Buff is right. Just put an inline fuse in and don't worry about it.
Then you can change the fuse
Yeah.
when it blows. Or what I would do is put a breaker.
Here's the thing.
Breaker.
Wait.
Okay.
Here's the advantage of a fusible link over a fuse. Okay? You may have a quick spike in draw, or a quick draw, that will blow the fuse.
But it won't blow.
But it won't blow the fusible link, which is probably why they did that. So
Yeah.
let's just say, for example, you're sitting in traffic, okay? And you've got the lights on, the heater on, the wipers on, and you're sitting there at the traffic light with your foot on the brakes. So you've got maximum draw, okay? Now let's just say you give it gas. Now suddenly the gauge goes boink like this and everything goes whoop, and you've got this tremendous load passing through that wire all at once.
But it doesn't blow.
It might blow a fuse,
But it wouldn't blow that.
but it wouldn't blow
You
a
know-
fusible link.
Old airplanes that I flew, they had a thing called a slow blow fuse, and it was on critical
That's
stuff.
probably what it is.
And,
A
I
slow
didn't,
blow
even,
fuse.
I didn't even think about that. I don't know where to get those things, but yeah, I mean the fusible link might be better than.
I imagine that's why they used it. They had fuses.
Heyo says, I'll talk to you, Kathy. Lord knows Tony won't talk to me anymore. Are you not talking to Heyo anymore?
I told you, but you're a fucking psycho.
You know what I always thought it was?
Tony
It
loves
was
you.
cheaper to make the fusible link. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's cheaper to just stick a fuse in there. They had
I
fuses.
suppose.
You know, they use fuses every place else, but not there. So you gotta say, why didn't they use a fuse when they were available? It's just like the cables. You know, they had cables all back in those days, but like on the kickdown linkage, the throttle linkage for the transmission on a Chrysler, why did they use linkage instead of a cable? They had cables, because everybody goes right away, they put those low car cable sets on their car. Oh, I'm not gonna bother kickdown linkage, I'm just gonna use a low car cable. But why didn't Chrysler use the cable? There has to be a reason why
Ford-
they went
Ford
through
had
all the
linkage.
trouble.
Ford had a piece of linkage went down there.
Yeah,
I never knew anybody didn't have a piece of linkage.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Mopar Lover and Constitutional says, hey Tony, what's a good price for a complete restorable 69 Newport with missing windshield?
Cheap.
Yeah.
Cheap, yeah. I mean, you gotta fight the demo derby guys for that car. Yeah, I would say $500 to $1,000 should be able to get you that thing.
Yeah.
I bought a 62 Ford one time at a dealership, at a Ford dealer, sitting in the back of the lot. And I went back there, I want to buy that car. How much is it? He goes, no, he goes, we're giving that to some guys for a demo derby. I said, oh man, you can't do that. So I kept talking, and then I kept offering more money, and he finally took it. And I drove out of there with it. I bought that in Illinois, drove it to California. They're going to put it in a demo derby. Man.
Good night, John R. Let's see. Fusible link fuse should be no more than a 3A slow blow. What we need is car people enclaves so no one is annoyed and we can help each other. Olive says that. I came up with that, like a community just
Yeah,
for car people.
car people.
Only car people can live there.
No, you know, we would all be at each other's throats.
Probably.
Yeah, it's just like homeowners associations. You know what I mean? It's like I'm totally down on the whole idea of the homeowners
Oh
association.
my God.
But I'm grateful that I have one. Because
You have one here?
Yeah, we do.
have one here.
Here?
Yep.
Oh my God, my friend Carl out in Arizona, he'd park his Dart, it had big wide tires on it, and he'd park it, and the tire would be over the edge of the driveway about that far, and the lawn was lower, it wasn't in the lawn. But somebody write him a ticket every night for having his tire over the,
Ours aren't that
Oh
bad.
my
Ours
God.
aren't that bad. But it's just
he
like
parked backwards. That's a big no-no, you can't do that, can't do that.
that's where they go too far. I just know all of the rules, and I get around all of the rules. You just got to know what you're up against. Like I said, I don't like them, but I'm glad I got one. Just like traffic lights, just like speed traps, just like all this. I'm grateful that there's traffic lights and there's speed traps.
I don't have
Because-
speed traps.
But I know know if they're going to be there. See. Here's the thing: if you keep everybody in line, see, I'm a true anarchist. Okay, meaning that I'm totally in favor of rules and regulations. Because think about it. Okay, so you say, well, I don't want to have any traffic lights. Well, if you didn't have any traffic lights, you wouldn't be able to drive at all. It'd be total chaos. Nobody would be able to get anywhere.
Be like
So you
anybody
need
have around.
some regulations. You just don't need them to apply to you. You see?
My mother was one of those. There should be a rule for this. There should be a rule for this. And then she was exempt from all the rules.
Bingo, exactly. You hit it right on the head.
Because she always said, well, I'm careful. And well,
Paul Capizzola wants to know how's the 5.77 Hemi build going.
My friend Al Castillo is going to come down and give me a hand with that. He knows those engines like the back of his hand. I don't know any of the little idiosyncrasies, like, yeah, I know the crank, the pistons, and the rods, but I don't know any of the other elements of that engine. So he's going to come down and give me a hand with that, and we'll do a video when that happens. Probably this coming week.
This week?
Yeah.
You ever race at Morso in Palm Beach?
No.
I noticed you had a Bakersfield poster up there. You weren't in Bakersfield, were you? Or were you?
No. I was over there, but that's, yeah, 1968 Bakersfield Fuel and Gas Championships. Just a great picture though, right?
Yeah. There's a runway right next there on the aeronautical charts that say, caution, do not land on the drag strip.
Pedro says, hi Uncle Tony, can you use an A motor 318 polyheads on an LA motor 318, 340, 360? Your vids are great, thanks.
You can definitely put LA heads on a poly. I do not know if you could put poly heads on an LA. Maybe somebody else does. I don't know. But yeah,
Seems to me there's a problem with the push broad angle. I'm not sure.
no, the push rod angle is the only thing there isn't a problem with.
Really?
Oh, wait,
Going the other way.
wait, okay. If you go, yeah, you could put, because it was a common thing, like Pro Stock, when Pro Stock was using the small blocks, it was very common for them to use a poly block because it was so much beefier than the regular LA block. I know that the Glidden W2340s were all based off of poly blocks.
But they had LA heads.
They had LA heads. They had W2 heads.
Okay.
But if you try to put poly heads on an LA block, the push rods aren't clearance. I don't know how
I
to
think that's a problem. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think
the push rods won't lay over far enough in the LA block to meet the poly. You have to grind way into the deck.
Are you going to address the oiling issues with the motor?
No, on the Gen 3 Hemi, no. I'm going to leave that to people who deal with them every day.
Okay. Let's see. There's a car community in Pontiac, Michigan. Nice houses, big garages, and private racetrack.
Well, they're doing that over here. They're doing
Nice.
the Nashville Motorsports Enclave, which is
It's going to be like 10 minutes away from us?
yeah, it's like 10 minutes away from us, but it's all like road race kind of guys. They're not going to have like a drag strip or anything there.
It's supposed to be super duper upscale.
Yeah.
Not
that's how
for
it's
us.
supposed to be. Yeah, airports like that where the houses and you live
Yeah.
there. And it's always an HOA and there's always that one, like, rent-a-cop that runs the place.
Let's see. Hey Yo says, Buff, I'm wearing a mask to protect me from a virus. I'm also building a chain link fence to keep from getting bit by mosquitoes.
Yeah, it's about the same. Man, I got a mosquito problem at home.
Yeah, we have one here
Oh,
too. It's
man,
pretty bad.
I already ran that new can of spray I bought. Already ran out.
They'll be dead the first frost. Like
Yeah.
any day now.
I thought it had been raining. It quit raining. I got home. It's kind of cool out. Opened the door, and I was no sooner out of that car. I had mosquito bites on my.
Sly Scouts
That's yesterday.
says, any builds coming up that require filling a block? I'd like to see your take on that. Hopefully I haven't missed an episode about it.
No, this one here is already filled, but it will be probably at least a year before we get around to do anything with it.
My HOA's lawyer sent me a letter because my trash can could be seen from the street. I sent a letter back saying it's the nicest trash can we ever had.
Lawyer, do you think a lawyer has something better to do than that?
You're right? You would think.
But that's what they get paid for. That's their lawyering.
I got a good friend that's a lawyer. He always wanted to be a pilot. So he's got this great education to be a lawyer, doctor's degree. but now he's a pilot. He's really happy.
When is UT buying the Daytona Charger?
Never.
Never.
If I had the spare loot laying around to buy one, I still wouldn't. I don't want to be a caretaker.
Buy something else. Has anybody ever pulled molds off those parts? Like the nose and everything?
Yeah, there's kits. I could see building a clone. That could be fun.
What's your opinion on tribute cars?
On what?
Tribute cars.
Oh,
My opinion, for myself, I would build a tribute of pretty much anything rare or exotic before I would actually own the rare and exotic thing. You got two different types of people. There's people who want to be caretakers, like my friend Richard Fleener. He's beautiful fleet, beautiful collector cars. He's got them in a nice environment. He spends all of his time detailing them and making them perfect and keeping up on them. And that's his thing. He's into that. And I'm the exact opposite. Like if I have a car that I can't just like leave out in the rain and not think about it, I don't want to deal with the car. So it's like there's different mentalities. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just different ways of doing things, different ways of perceiving things.
I see a matching numbers car and everything's all just so and some special model. I don't want it.
Right,
Because I'm the one that's gonna change something.
See, I geek out over stuff like that. I love it, but I don't want to own it.
Yeah,
because
like
I'm
his
not a
stuff,
caretaker.
you walk through there, that's one of the most fun videos you do, is walking through that kind of place. But, man, then you can't do it. That's the way it is. You polish it, keep it nice.
John Wilburn sent $3.11.
Thanks, John.
How far can the poly block be bored?
130 is the last one that I know of that was done. 130 over, and that brings it to 4.030. 4 inch plus 30. 4 inch plus 20.
I don't know.
It's 3.91 plus 130. Oh, that's a standard 340 size. 4 inch plus 40.
Michael says, my friends Stephen York and Nathan Reynolds have been having the same problem with their 72 Duster. They get it 95% of the way done and then give up. Any advice to not lose interest in a project?
A lot of people have that problem. Your phone's making noise.
Yeah.
A lot of people have that problem, including myself. You get a project to a point that it's like, you know, yeah, you're 3/4 of the way there, and you just kind of lose interest in it because maybe you passed the hump, past the struggle. My favorite phase of a project is the deepest part of it, right? It's like, you know, when you look around and it's like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to turn all of this random stuff into a car. That's my favorite part of the project. And the closer it gets to becoming a car, the more interest I lose in it. And then finally, when it's a complete car, I lose all interest in it, and it just sits like this thing. You know what I mean? Or that thing, or that thing. It's like I'm only really interested in it when it's like the deepest, darkest part of the project is when I have my fun.
Lewis wants to know thoughts on the Hellcat Red Eye.
Not my cup of tea. I mean, they're great. You know, I could not say a single thing negative about them, but totally not my cup of tea.
What's up, Carmelo? Any experience with Mopar Stage 5 or 4 heads for big blocks?
Didn't they do one of those for a guy?
Did you do one? I don't know.
No.
No?
No.
No experience?
No experience.
Okay. Yeah, my phone is dinging. Right, someone is messaging me, asking me if we're going live.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They're late.
Yeah. Let's see. Tony, how about, wait, this is Ari. Tony, about how chewed is normal for a slant 6 cam. I was worried initially about the condition of my cam, but figured it may just be a Dodge thing.
How much is what?
About how chewed is normal for a slant 6 cam.
Chewed?
Yeah.
None is normal.
There should be any chewer.
No. No chewing on the cam.
It's not just a Dodge thing, Ari.
No, it's a bad thing.
Chewed. It's a little candies with canned
So,
chefs.
let me ask you a question, Bob. If I was to give you a bare car, just a bare roller, right? Like no interior or anything like that. But like a basic running gear, what would you do with it?
I don't know. See, I already got one of those, man. I'm not getting much done on it. What are you asking?
Because I have one that I'm gonna use some parts from, I need like the interior and whatnot, from, and like taillights and shit like that for, but just out of curiosity, because I have an extra car laying there at the back of the shop
is it?
before I start.
What engine's in it? What
It's,
is it?
it's a 71 Valiant,
2-door, 4-door?
four-door, they're all four-doors.
No interior in it. I don't know.
What kind of toy would you build?
Well, see, I like stuff I can drive on the street. I like stuff I can get in. Not think twice, drive a couple thousand miles. But I like stuff that goes good. And not necessarily you can win any drag races, just something that's, I don't know, just something that's fun.
Uh-oh,
And if I put it together, then I enjoy it, you know?
I think Uncle Kathy's leaving us, she's getting in the car. You leaving?
You're in the wrong side of the car. The steering wheel's on the other side.
Where,
She's on the glove compartment side.
I don't know what she's doing. Uh-oh, she's coming back, now she's pissed.
No,
Is that a chainsaw in her hands?
No, it's my mints.
Oh, it's
Out
her
of the
mints,
car.
okay.
Let's get my mints out of the car. Sorry, guys. You guys were talking, so I didn't think you needed me.
He's asking me what I do with the car.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about building like a cart? You see what they do with like the vet carts?
It's a cart.
Yeah, have you ever seen like the vet carts? Like where they take a vet, it's a common thing, they take a vet, and they strip the whole body off of it, and they build like just a
Oh,
simple
I've seen
roll
those.
cage
I've
type
seen
of
those
thing.
things. Man, I even had one of those.
Did you?
Well, it was still a Corvette.
Ah, well, that's on the cart.
But yeah, but I mean, I could have done that. Yeah, I don't know.
How's
See,
your
I'm
back,
buried in
Tony?
projects
Huh?
right now.
How's your back? You're rocking back and forth.
Well, rocking back and forth is fine, it's just when I put weight on it.
Okay.
And actually, I'm rocking back and forth right now, it's kind of stretching it.
Okay.
So I hurt my back pretty bad one time, and I didn't want to go to the doctor. So the guy I was working for was a doctor. And he said, I said, you know, I think that it'll heal by itself without going to the doctor. And he goes, you're probably right. He says, exercise it, but don't hurt it again. Just always know that point that you can exercise without hurting it. And about a year later, it was fine. And I didn't have to have anything fused or any doctors going in there or anything.
Do you want a question?
Yes!
Okay. CF Mechanic says, curious what it's worth to pull a few degrees of ignition advance in upper RPM range.
To pull a few degrees? Everything has to do with the combustion chamber of the engine. They're all different. Combustion chamber, cam, they're all different. But it is nearly always beneficial to pull timing in the upper RPM ranges. So how much you pull is dependent on the actual individual engine itself. But there is always power to be made by bringing the timing back somewhat as the RPM increases.
What happened to Tony? Tony hurt his back putting the Valiant on the chassis.
I got all like 17 years old again. Me and this,
Then instantly 90.
oh please. Yeah, I'm seriously, you want to know the fountain of youth, man, build a car. It's just like, it's that simple, build a car. No, we did the video on this yesterday, but I wanted to get the body of the Valiant up on the truck chassis. So I shortened the chassis, welded that together, and then I cut the floor pan out of the Valiant. So I had the guy there's one of the guys that works at the lot, he's got units across from mine, and it was like late yesterday afternoon, it was starting to get dark, it was starting to drizzle, and I wanted that body up on the chassis. So I grabbed him and we grabbed the body and lifted it up onto the back wheels of the truck chassis, and I felt something go bink in my back. And I should have stopped right then and there, but I was like, no, fight through it, you know. So the endorphins and the adrenaline kicked in, and we manhandled this body up onto the back of the chassis and got it set in place, and you can see the pictures of it on the video that we did today or yesterday. And I've been paying for it ever since.
So, Martin Dollinger and John Possum are telling us that the show has become terrible. Terrible show.
Oh,
Both
well,
of them in a row. Okay,
What?
guys,
This is
so
a terrible show?
why are you watching?
What do we gotta do?
Don't watch.
What do we do wrong?
I don't know.
tell me about it.
You're breathing. Are you breathing? You're doing something wrong. Never lift car bodies with your back. Always with your knees and elbows.
Duh.
Oh, yeah. Think about that next time I hurt my back.
My elbows and everything are still attached. There's still, the weight from the upper body still has to get transferred to the lower body through the back, so no matter how you look at it.
Why'd you guys badmouth the 413 engines?
I never
badmouthed
heard anybody
it?
badmouth.
Who bad mouth the 413?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, they're the same people who think we do a bad show. They badmouth.
We did a bad show because we bad mouth the 413.
You did a bad show, so I'm gonna come to you live and tell you you did a bad show. Thanks. 413 is an awesome engine.
It's just a small bore 440. There's nothing wrong about it.
What the hell is a 413?
A younger guy. Oh,
It's
413.
old Crony's garage, you see.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's a younger guy. The 413 is like a 440, but not quite as big. And it's a RB. It's a
A
raised block.
413 is a 70 under bore 426, which is a 70 under bore 440.
It was in a lot of cars in the early 60s.
Well,
It was a big badass engine in the Chryslers of the day, you know.
Mopar Mark says I love 413s, but it's hard to get pistons.
Why is it hard to get pistons?
I don't know.
Go 70 over and use 426 pistons. Or 383 pistons.
That's a big. You don't have any problem boring that.
Yeah.
70,000.
John Wilburn says if Mopar made a 411, that would be my favorite. What's you guys' favorite 4 cylinders if you had to choose?
4-cylinder.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I do know. The little Pontiac Iron Dukes crossflow head. It's like
Yeah, I remember those. It was a 301.
Yeah,
Really?
Joseph just says Iron Duke was a good 4-cylinder.
You want to get mad at me? You're gonna get mad at me.
Oh,
I had a '69 Dart that had 300 and a lot of miles on it, 350,000, slant six, smoky thing. And I had a Jeep I was working on for a guy. I was putting an Iron Duke in it, and the guy sold the Jeep while I was working on it, and the guy that bought it took it away. So there I am sitting there with a
You put
nice
contact on
brand
the Dart?
new Iron Duke, and I dropped it in the Dart that night. Oh, I bought a Turbo 200, dropped it in the Dart. There's an air cleaner on it. Said, keep your GM vehicle all GM. You open up the fan was this far from the radiator. And I had to crank the torsion bars down because it set real high in the nose, set it down. I drove that thing around for a long time. And my friend Carl in Arizona, he ended up with it. He drove it for a long time. He sold it to somebody. I wish I still had that car because now I'd put a small block in it.
Jim Douglas says Ford made a good 4. Captain Dynamo 78 says the Pinto engine.
I didn't like the Pinto engine. I had Pintos and I always put other stuff in it.
The 2.6 Mitsubishi was a good motor.
Yeah.
Or
Kind of-
2.5.
I had 2.6.
No, 2.6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had not a Charger, but a Sapporo, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.6 in it. That was a great
I
engine,
remember
but
those.
it was
Those were
really,
good engines.
really complicated engine. Yeah. Another shaft in there that,
They made good power though.
oh yeah, it was fine. And it got good mileage. But it had,
The
Yeah, it's
2.3
complicated.
Ford, I love those motors.
you know what I didn't like about those?
What?
Broke pistons in them. Always, you get a knock in, and I take them apart, and like the skirt of the piston,
They used to eat camshafts. too.
where the skirt comes down, it's kind of shaped like this.
Mhm.
It'd break right in the ring land, but that skirt would stay there, but it was completely broken off, and it would sit there and
Just
knock.
Knock.
Yep. I had it happen several times. I had one in a Fairmont. I put a 302 in that too.
What was that noise?
Knock.
No. It sounded like an. bear or something.
A bear.
In the middle of the street.
That's that bear car he's talking about.
Right. NEVW engine.
A what engine?
NEVW engine.
Oh, yeah, there's a four-cylinder that's, I kind of like the old Volkswagens. That's a cool old engine, you know.
Dana Marion says, do you like the 6667 Belvedere 2 Satellite GTX body style? 413 is a buildable. Oops, it jumped on me.
Do I like that body style? It's my favorite body style.
Those are supposed to be
66.7
awesome engines.
Belvedere, I love that.
Yeah, that's
style.
one of my favorites.
It's hard to not like that body style. Like, they're just beautiful.
It's the most Mopar unique body style.
It is.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 66.
They didn't
67.
copy anybody else that
Oh,
year,
and then that
those years.
67 was the first GTX, wasn't it?
That roof line
Yeah,
is
in that body.
just
oh.
Mopar.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at look at a 1968 Mopar and you look at a 1966 Pontiac
Or Ford from the rear.
or a Ford from the rear, okay? But those 66, 67 B bodies are only Mopar. It's the most Mopar thing ever.
Well, and that's what that came from.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at his Charger, 67.
Have a drink. I mean, you're so awesome and cooperative.
Oh yeah, that's me.
I never thought about that. What's your favorite Mopar body style?
That one is
That one?
66, 67.
My favorite one is the 67 through 9 Barracuda, the big fastback one.
Are you selling any Slant 6 motors in your garage?
No,
You don't sell anything, do
I
you?
don't sell anything.
Well, we're gonna sell
So you
parts
get in the
again.
parts
We're
business.
thinking about getting into the parts business.
Yeah.
Just so that I've got extra help around the shop.
Roll up your windows.
Roll your windows! I know, Scotty Kilmer's moving to Tennessee.
Hey UTG, can you get points distributors anymore? I was looking online the other day and couldn't find any.
Sure, go to any auto parts store. I just bought one a couple of weeks ago for $318. It was like $40.
Really?
Yeah.
Just a direct replacement.
Yeah.
Mopar Daily wants to know how much would replacing valve seals on a 5.7 cost?
I have no idea. No idea.
Road Toad.
Man, there's a Road Toad for sale right now, right around here, real close to you.
Where is it?
But it's a 62, and I really like, you know, the 61 and 60 had the little pinchy
Here in
taillights in the back. Yeah, I think
Where?
it was, or between here and, it's real close to here. No, it was just west of here. Between here and, what's just west of here? I don't know. But anyway, it's a, it's $1,500. It's got an engine in it, transmission, it runs, but somebody painted it. Imagine the brightest green you can imagine. Okay. Like it's on Marketplace. It's 62, but the paint scares me because somebody paints something like that, you just wonder if it's
What
like
else would they
3/4 Bondo or if it's just what it is. You know, obviously a fresh paint job. I don't know. I mean, just probably the engine transmission's worth that much, you know.
Kinsley's Tastex Miracle says, thoughts on building a 12-valve Cummins compared to a big block for a 4x4 Dodge 3/4 ton truck?
I'm not a diesel guy. I don't know. I mean, I hear nothing but rave, things about the Cummins. But I'm just not a diesel guy. I'm a spark plug guy. So, you're asking the wrong person.
What's up 672E Galaxy?
Those Cummins, there's all kinds of groups on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Ben Smith.
That's truly a cult motor. But I'm just not into it.
Let's see. When I was at the engine shop, I built a VW for a drag car. I ended up upgrading to Z28 valve springs. You may be talking to somebody else.
Okay.
413 a ribbon, dual quad cross round long tube transonic intake, low end torque monster. Thanks, John Wilbur. What's up, Jupiter Mustang Mike? Let's see, Project Thunderbird. I have a 69 Tornado that is throwing soot out of the exhaust on cold startups. I tuned the carburetor and changed the spark plugs, but it's still running crazy rich. Any way to fix this issue?
Yeah, choke pull off is no good.
That's quick.
Yeah. Fix the choke pull off.
I think I have to go in and get the dogs in the house. They're outside, barking.
I'll do that.
You're gonna do that?
I'll do
Do
that.
you want me to read questions to Buff?
Yeah,
No,
no,
don't
I
walk,
can't
don't
answer
walk.
questions.
I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. I'm fine.
He's not fine.
He's not fine. Walking like a guy that has a hurt back. Man. I won't answer the questions the way he does.
Have you got a 904 transmission with AMC bell housing, all one piece? No.
Man, I used to have. No more.
Do you have any experience with the 429 Ford?
Okay.
I do.
You okay?
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with the 429 Ford? If so, let's hear it. I just built one that should lay my ears back.
Well, I don't know. We just went over all that.
I have no experience with it too.
Okay, you said. What? About the 429 Ford.
Yeah. I don't have it.
Oh, you don't?
No?
Oh, mine was just this street runner that was terrible. Like, the earlier heads and cam timing and changed the whole world.
Okay, Ben Treese says, I'm looking for a 1988 Dodge Aries KLE wagon with the Chrysler 2.5 L 4-cylinder engine with automatic transmission. What is the certain things I should be looking for whenever I want to buy this car?
Man.
There was one near us for sale. It was really nice.
Was there? Mm-hmm. I didn't see it.
That was really nice.
I have no idea what to look for or anything like that.
It had wood grain.
I do know that I talked to one guy who's into those cars not too long ago, maybe it was about a year or two ago. And there's an issue with the electronics on those. When the computers go bad, replacements are a bitch. And there's certain components inside of the computer that, see, again, I'm not, not a computer guy. But there are issues as far as finding replacement parts or repairing those ECMs that they use on those cars. So, for what it's worth.
Tiki Frawley says, feel better soon, Uncle Tony.
Thank you.
Any experience with the Mopar flatheads?
Just, I've worked on them occasionally, through the course of the years. Nothing, nothing crazy.
I had a friend in the Air Force. This is in the 70s, like 1974. He had a 48 Plymouth with one of those, and it blew a head gasket. It was running terrible. We pulled the head off. He took the head gasket was on there, painted it with that copper coat, spray copper coat, put it back on, we bolted it back down, and off we went.
Yep.
Never another problem. I just amazed. Didn't have a,
Still scratching at
what
the
is
door.
that noise?
That's Lily scratching at the door.
Sounds like somebody sharpening a razor blade on it.
She needs her nails clipped.
The talons.
Yeah. Uncle Tony, do you find cars for people? If so, what was
No.
the hardest vehicle you had to find?
I don't. I stay away from that. Because you can't please people.
No,
No.
I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
That's
no.
what I liked least about working on cars.
What's that?
Hard to please people.
Yeah, you can't please them.
Well, they change their mind about what they want. So you spend all the time looking for one thing, and then they're like, no, I don't want that. I think I want something else.
Yeah. No.
Well, and you fix something that works so well when you're finished, something has nothing to do with it, fails a week later.
At this point, the only thing I do, and the only thing I plan on doing for the foreseeable future, is making YouTube videos. That's it.
And maybe selling parts.
I would have somebody selling parts.
Right.
You ever work on Oldsmobile engines, the V8s?
Sure.
Okay, there's a plate between the water pump and the timing chain. I had a guy bring me one of these, a radiator shop, a bad water pump, easy diagnosis, pulled the water pump off, and I accidentally broke that plate loose, the gasket came loose, so that plate backed out from
Then you gotta pull the damper
okay,
off.
so now I gotta pull the damper off, and now I'm working for me. This is free because I messed up, So I pull the damper off. I scrape this off. I reach up and I grab the timing chain and I can move it. This timing chain, I don't even know how this engine's running, So I called the guy and I said, "Come on down here. I just want to show you something." I said, "You pay for the timing chain." I said, "I'm already there. I'll install it for free. I'm just charging you to put the water pump on." And he goes, "I'm a lawyer." I go, "No." And he says, "I put myself through school as an auto mechanic." And he goes, "I understand stuff like this." He goes, "No, I don't want to replace it." I'm like, "You gotta be kidding." And he goes, "No, just put it back together." Okay. It all went back together and off it went. I always worried about that car. Lawyer driving around, that timing chain just, man, worst timing chain I ever saw.
Roberta says, Tony, I just got back in the muscle car game, and all these dudes at car shows are like 80 years old and so hardcore about nice cars. They hate my ratty 69 Roadrunner.
Yeah, they don't get it. The older guys don't get it.
Wait a minute. I'm an older guy.
You're not 80.
Yeah, but you're
But
not,
you know what? I never had a ton of money, so I don't have those cars. I still got the ratty old cars, you know.
Well,
So I really have fun with those cars. You know, look at these. None of them are show cars. You know, but they're not ratty. Oh, you got a couple that are ratty.
Couple are ratty.
Yeah, I got
But
a
you
GT.
have fun with them.
The GT
Yeah.
is really ratty.
You know.
No, it's just like the 2-door versus 4-door guys, right? Like the older guys are all like, it's a 4-door, what a piece of shit. And younger guys don't count doors. They have no idea. They don't understand. They like literally, you take a 20-year-old and you tell them, hey, but that's a 4-door, and they're like, they look at you like, yeah, and
My oldest son's in his mid-30s, and he's special forces guys in the army, you know. So he tells me, he goes, "Yeah, I got a friend, you know. He got a car from his mother." He goes, "It's an old Alero, and it's a 2-door." I go, "Oh, those look pretty nice." He goes, "But it's a 2-door. That's like something some old person would have."
It's funny.
You gotta be kidding! You'd rather have a 4-door? He goes, "Yeah, of course."
you know,
Okay.
Dan's Garage says, hey, Tony. I have a 79 Cutlass Supreme with a 406 small block Chevy main project on my
Nice.
new channel. Check it out.
that sounds
I
like fun.
have a 275 60R15 in the back, but I just can't get it to hook well on the street. Any tips?
The rear suspension on that car, I mean, I don't know what you've done with it. It's still a trailing arm rear suspension. The biggest problem with those is axle. Okay, so picture this. Your trailing arm rear end on that is a 4-link, but it's a 4-link set to infinite, right? Your instant center would be infinite. So you want to do with that is you want to still get the upper control arm biased from pointing upward to pointing downward. You can add an extension to the rear axle housing to lift it up in the back, or you can make a fabricated bracket to lower it in the front. But that's the biggest thing with all those G bodies. It's the upper control arm, the upper rear control arm angle has to be faced downward.
Why did they do that?
For ride. But it gives the same effect as a 4-link suspension with the adjustment set for infinite instant center. So instead of pushing the rear end down into the ground, it's actually lifting the rear end off the ground. And that's where the hop and everything comes from.
Zach Hader wants to know what years was the dual quad poly in production?
1958.
Just 1 year?
I believe it
Can
was
you
1 year
imagine
old.
that?
Could have been 57 too, but I know of 1958 for sure.
Let's see.
Imagine going to a dealer and open up the hood and seeing that.
If you had the option between buying a 2-door post and If you had the option between buying a 2-door post and a 2-door hardtop 66, 67B body, what would you go with?
Oh, I love the sedans.
You
The
do
two-door
love the
posts
sedan,
are-
yeah, you do.
See, I
I
like
got
the
a
looks of the
freak
hard top a lot better.
The hardtop is beautiful. The hardtop is beautiful.
But you know what? I'm sitting here looking at this. And if you ever end up on, flipping this thing over on its lid, that's almost like a roll bar there. You got a lot more stiffness.
Well, the post adds stiffness to the whole unibody. The
Yeah.
post car doesn't twist the way a hardtop does.
No.
But he's talking about the 66, 67. And the 66,
Oh,
67.
I know what they look like. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 4-door roof on the
Right.
two-door
So it's like
body.
a short 4-door roof on a 2-door body. I know what it would mean.
Yeah.
Oh, and I like the looks of
I
the 2-door.
love those cars.
I like the 2-door hardtop a lot better, but that's just my
Yeah, the
preference.
hardtop is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but the sedan talks to me.
Curtis Randolph says, I have a disassembled 440. Any plans to do an assembly video? I would be eternally grateful.
We're going to do the 383 for that Valiant, for the off-road Valiant. So yeah, we're definitely going to do a big block thing very soon.
They build the same, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wrench Tech. What's the best stock FE head to mod for torque for 390 FE?
I don't know. There's got to be a Ford guy out there that can throw that out there for you. I couldn't tell you which one.
You know, and there's different FE heads. There's ones that have 2 bolts for the exhaust, like on the older cars.
Yep.
There's ones that have 3 bolts that they used in all the, like Mustangs, Cougars, all that. Probably some 428 Cobra jet head or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm-
Somebody out there is gonna
I was
be
working on
exactly
that stuff before all that happened. So I was working on late 50s, early 60s.
Ramberto sent $5.
Thanks.
Tony, have you seen all the videos of the 71 CUDA 426 Hemi doing 9 seconds on the quarter mile?
Dave Dudek.
How would you guess he's doing that? Nitrous?
No. I know Dave. Yeah, no. We're going to do a video with him. He had a Roadrunner that was running 980s. I think he had like 989 with it. And now he's running the CUDA. The CUDA's got an advantage because it's got the shorter wheelbase. And I imagine that's why he made the switch from the Roadrunner to the CUDA. But no, that's just pure science, pure absolute science. No, he's not cheating. That's an amazing piece of work, and we're definitely going to get together with Dave and do something extensive tech soon.
Where is he?
He's in Michigan. Well, I may actually even take a ride up there and do something with him. Yeah, I don't know, but that's something that's definitely on our to do list. And yeah, Dave's a great guy. He's sharp, man. This guy knows his stuff.
Chris wants to know, could you do a restoration build from rolling body to the finished project, not show quality?
Say that again now.
Could you do a restoration build from rolling body to the finished project, not show quality?
I think that's kind of
did
like
that already.
what we do. Yeah.
No, we did it with this car.
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah.
never want to do that again.
Yeah, we did it with this car here.
The Roadrunner, the 68.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, we did it with that Charger. We did that from scratch, really. Everything's been changed.
What, the 67?
Yeah.
Well, no, there hasn't been extensive work to that. Like, the interior is not done.
Motor, trans, rear.
Right, yeah, all the mechanical components,
all-
yes.
Right.
Not the body and
The
not
swinger. That we built that from scratch.
Yeah, we built
too.
that from nothing.
Yeah. Well,
That's
before we had the
a
Charger.
Hemi orange one?
Yeah.
It had
I mean,
no
we've-
glass in it, nothing. Like, there was
We've
nothing
done
there.
it many times. We just haven't done it on the channel yet.
Dave Dudek's car has no nitrous and through the manifolds. Top secret cam specs.
The magic with that is the launch. Everything is a launch on that. And if you guys knew how simple the rear ends he uses are on those cars, the suspension setup would blow your mind. And that's what we're definitely going to do. The rear suspension on Bottle Rocket is a copy of the rear suspension that's on his 9-second Roadrunner. And if you had told me it would work the way it works before I did it, I would have said, no way. But I had a long conversation with him. Actually, we did a podcast with him. And he told me the leaf springs he was using on it, and no pinion snub or anything like that. And those are the leaf springs I got in that car, and no pinion snub. It's stock, low performance, 2-barrel station rear leaf springs. And that thing just hooks. It hooks like crazy.
Are you guys originally from Tennessee?
No, originally from New York City, and Buff is originally from a different solar system, really.
California.
California.
Until the military got a hold of me. Then I'm from everywhere.
Killer paint on the Dart, UTG. The Dart came out nice. Killer paint on the Duster.
I wouldn't say killer in either of them, but okay paint.
Okay, paint, yeah.
Plenty good enough.
I plan on repainting everything that I've ever painted is going to get painted again. This Roadrunner I painted this one.
That was
10
the
years
first
ago.
car you painted.
Yeah,
Yep.
but it's a mess. And it
In
needs to be
100-degree weather.
Yeah.
Blazing sun. Didn't come
Yeah,
out
I'm
very
trying
good.
to keep it wet. Man.
Let's see.
Yeah, I painted all three of these cars. This one, the white Roadrunner, and the orange Swinger.
Ben, it'll get shipped in a couple of days. If it's
The
one I
white
have to
Roadrunner?
print, maybe
Huh?
like
That one?
3
Yeah, I
days
painted
it'll
that.
go out.
I painted this one like 11 years ago. I painted that one like 10 years ago.
Oh, I didn't know you painted.
And then I
Thank
didn't
you,
paint
Ben.
anything until I painted the Swinger.
What's going on with that white one? Are you driving it or?
It's just sitting there. It's just sitting there. I gotta go through the brakes on it.
It has none.
It has none.
Like zero.
Yeah.
I gotten it to move it and none. I didn't know. Let's see. What spark plugs do you use? Platinum, iridium, copper? About to buy some for a Hemi truck.
I just, I got a thing for auto lights, just regular auto light plugs. You know, sometimes, you know, I mean, the copper, but no, I don't use anything special as far as spark plugs go. That's not to say that that's the ideal plug to use in your application with a Hemi, so I don't know. You gotta go do a little research on that.
Ben Smith says to tell you that he's not really a troll.
Okay, cool, awesome.
What spark plugs do Chryslers come with? Like this era's Chrysler.
Champions,
Came with Champion.
yeah.
Let's see. Looks good for first paint job. Turn your air pressure down to about 20 psi. Love your show, Anthony says.
Turn your pressure down.
20 psi.
And seeing other people say turn the pressure up. I'm gonna experiment with both.
I think maybe you had it too high. I don't know.
I don't know. I know I had the fan set for too much, and that's why I got all that orange pill. I gotta narrow the fan down.
Okay.
You got a good compressor though. Oh, that's not the compressor you use.
That's not the compressor I use.
What compressor do you use? Some bigger than that or something?
20 gallon I have over at the shop.
A 20 gallon.
Yeah, but it keeps up.
See, the problem I have with painting is I like to run higher pressure, but then I get small compressor, so it doesn't stay high pressure. So I struggle with it.
What,
I
you,
need a big compressor.
you don't use Champions? Sacrilege.
No, Champions went to shit like in the 80s. You know, the problem with the Champion plug is that once you get them wet for whatever reason, they don't come back. Where the auto lights will come back.
Howard says, I'm thinking about putting a 5-speed tranny in my 72 318 CUDA. Any thoughts on transmission type?
I think that's a fairly simple swap if you just grab something out of a Dakota. Just find something with a 3.9 or a 5.2. The 5-speed they use, it's a T5 derivative. I don't know what they call it exactly. But that whole setup, the bell housing, everything, go bolt right to your, and then use a hydraulic clutch out of that car. It seems to me to be a pretty straightforward swap.
Did you use a dryer setup on your compressor?
I emptied the tank completely. I took the plug out the bottom of the tank, emptied it completely. And it wasn't a humid day. If it was humid, I would have done that, plus I would have put a water separator in it, but it wasn't humid at all. I had no problem as far as water goes.
Michael O'Loughlin wants to know, would you do a 440 build? Why aren't they more popular?
They're very popular. I mean, we're gonna, I mean, we may do definitely gonna do the 383 that we're using in the Valiant for the Game Boy 500 car. And then that there is that's all the parts for a stroke one. That's a 452. And we'll do that. That's destined for this car. This car's a 400 in it right now.
This car.
Yeah. This one has a 400 in it right now. It's got ported 906s. It's a roller cam. It's a good stout motor, but it's not really what I want. So we're gonna build that one. But we have other stuff we gotta get done first.
Lots of other stuff.
I have builds lined up for the next 5 years. So stay tuned, and we're gonna get to everything.
But you don't get anything done, Tony.
I've heard that.
One person.
We have 14 cars and trucks, and out of that, only 3 of them right now. You couldn't get in, drop a battery in, because I only keep so many batteries because they go dead when they sit. But out of that, there's only 3 of them that you can't get into right this very minute. Turn the key and drive it anywhere.
Yeah, they all run.
Right. They all run. All my shit runs.
Anthony says, get the little Harbor Freight inline filter for the airline. That's a good idea. Let the dogs in.
There's one sitting on the shelf, actually.
You have one?
Yeah, there should be one on that shelf.
Let's see. Dan's Garage again. Hey, Uncle Tony, on that Cutlass, in addition to raising the rear mounting point, with swapping the aluminum rims in the back to steel possibly soften the shock of the launch to stop them from breaking.
Don't even worry about tires now. Don't until you get the rear, the upper control arm straightened out. Don't worry about anything else.
Good night, Mopar Mark.
And you could put an airbag on the, or you could put an air shock or an airbag on the right rear. That helps also.
Wyatt says, I bought a 2011 Ram 1500 with 5.7 Hemi. Are all of them tearing up cams or just certain percentage?
Depends how it's used. There, if you go back and read the comments on those videos that I did, and those will answer your question a lot better than I can. It depends how they're used. If there's a lot of idling, a lot of stop and go, a lot of traffic, that sort of thing, that eats them up. You've got other people who buy these things, they never see traffic, they never see anything more than just like a regular, traffic light and stuff like that, and they get 300,000, 400,000 miles out of them, no problem. So it just depends on how it's used.
Mark Shaw wants to know, when is the Helvedere happening?
When we get to it, the Helvedere,
That's an expensive build.
it's not even so much that it's an expensive build. We can probably afford to do it now. It's manpower. I can't. For me to get into that car, I have to stop everything else in my life. It's going to be probably a 6-month period where the doors are going nuts.
Yeah, they are. I know.
For me to get into the Helvedere, I'm looking at probably a 6-month chunk of time or thereabouts where I do nothing else because
Not even videos?
a project. Well, I mean, I guess I would be doing videos, but I won't be able to work on anything else.
Right.
A project of that scope requires like total tunnel vision, and I can't be distracted with, well, we got to paint this, or we got to put a rear end in that, or we got to do, build on this, or
Everything else has to be out of the way.
Right, everything else has to be done and out of the way before I could think about that. I have all the basic parts, here's a block, there's heads, there's a Hemi crank or two under there. I still got to pick up a set of Hillborn injectors, but I mean, I got, Buffalo, there's a Hemi funny car oil pan, there's
Oh, here.
fucking valve springs and Hemi push rods, there's stuff all over the place here for that, but I gotta build the chassis for it, I gotta build the motor, I gotta build the trans, I gotta build the rear, and it's all very tunnel vision sort of stuff, so it's gonna be a while before we do that.
GJ Cool Kid wants to know, what engine would you recommend for a 3rd gen Camaro?
I mean, the world sticks LSs in those things these days, so I would probably say throw an LS in it. Unless for some reason you've got a bug for, regular small blocks, which I happen to, but yeah,
I like those. They're cheap.
I'd LS it.
Look, the 350. They're cheap.
But so are LSs.
I guess LSs are getting cheaper.
Yeah, they are.
10 years from now? You're gonna work on that car 10 years from now?
No, honestly, it's really a matter of manpower. I need more hands on here. And that will evolve. That will come to pass. It's just gotta be patient and keep moving forward, and then it gets done.
Is there a skunk outside attacking the dogs? No, they go on barking sprees. When am I making a lasagna feast for top fans? When am I doing that?
When are you doing that? What are you waiting for?
Wasn't I supposed to bake cookies for everyone last
You're supposed to
Christmas?
bake cookies for every subscriber.
Let's have a cheese channel.
I don't have time. I just don't have time. There's 2 of
That's
us
a cop-out.
doing all of this.
This is
That's
cheese.
a cop-out.
Cheese.
Uncle Kathy's exciting world of cheese.
Oh,
And then we want to do dogs eating cheese.
dogs eating cheese.
I don't understand that one at all.
We're going to do a channel called Dogs Eating Cheese. It'll happen eventually.
Okay, it's Martin Dollinger again, the one who told us our show was terrible, but apparently he's been watching for
Oh.
like the last 45 minutes.
Thanks, Mike.
So
What did you
he's saying, Tony, let's face it, you do nothing but talk.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Thanks,
I'm
Martin.
pretty good at that.
Yeah,
Well, for
he
3
doesn't
hours
work.
on Sunday night.
He doesn't work on anything ever. The dogs do it all.
What time's your show come
Oh, no, they took Green Acres off.
on? Oh, see, you could just talk till midnight.
I don't want to go that far.
Okay.
UTG spaghetti feed, yeah.
All I do is talk.
If you hate the show and you told us that 45 minutes ago. That means you've been watching for 45 minutes.
No, I love those guys though.
Why would
Do
you
you
watch?
get me TV?
Martin,
All you do is
Martin,
talk.
why
all
would
you
you
do
watch
is
something
talk.
that you dislike?
Why would
Go
you?
be happy. Go
Why
be
would
happy.
you want people not to talk on?
No, people are like, he doesn't work on anything, he only
Yeah, I
talks.
know. I know. I see. You know your favorite troll, the guy that
Yeah.
only talks and claims that's all you do. You don't get anything done.
I'm in the shop 7 days a week. These things all require constant work.
Well, look what happened the last couple of days.
You know what you should do,
You
Tony?
shortened a chassis and you mounted a body on it.
Yeah,
Right, in a couple of days, all by yourself.
no, one day.
One day, all by yourself. So you know what you should do?
What's
You
that?
should wear a head camera
I want to do that.
and walk around, spend one day with Uncle Tony.
People would not believe.
No, they wouldn't believe how much you do. Like you'll get up at 4 a.m., you'll go to the shop,
Yeah.
you'll work, you'll come home, you'll eat, you'll go back to the shop.
My routine every day is I wake
And
up.
in between, in the early on, we'll make a video.
I wake up every morning between 4 and 5. I go to the racetrack, I grab a cup of coffee, and I go to the shop. And I work on whatever it is that, we're working on. And you remember, all of the cleaning, all the disassembly, cleaning, preparation, all that, I do all that stuff. So it takes time. So every morning I wake up between 4 and 5, and I do this 7 days a week. I wake up between 4 and 5, I go and grab a cup of coffee, I go to the shop. I work at the shop until around 11 or 12, and then I come home. And I grab, I'll eat a frozen pizza, I'll take a nap for an hour or two, I'll hang out here for an hour or two, play with the dogs, do whatever I'm gonna do, and then I go back to the shop, and I'm there until usually 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And this is my routine, 7 days a week.
Martin says, okay, sorry, you must work hard. I don't know if he's being sarcastic.
No, I mean, seriously, these cars don't keep themselves running.
But you know, people just see videos. They see
only
little
see the
snippets
video.
of stuff.
Right.
They don't see daily life. And I can see how you might think that he talks a lot, but
Well,
when he
here's-
talks a lot, he's trying to explain things to people.
Here's the thing, I don't do tutorials, right? I don't do tutorial videos. I don't do a video, this is how you rebuild a front suspension. I don't do, this is how you set up a transmission. This is how you do it. I don't do tutorial videos because those things are very specific to the exact car that you're working on. What I do is I do theory videos. So what I'll do is I'll use something that's on one of our cars that I'm working on, let's say a carburetor, ignition, camshaft, whatever it happens to be, suspension. And I'll do a video on the general principles at work and use our cars as an example. Because if I did specific hands-on videos, okay, so this is how you rebuild a wiper motor. So I have to rebuild the wiper motor on the Slinger because it doesn't part, okay?
Doesn't
So-
wiper.
Right, so if I do that video, only people that have a Slinger with 3-speed wipers are gonna be interested in that video. So I don't do it. It's the video. So that's what I'm saying, there's work constantly always being done, but it's very specific to the car that I'm working on, and I don't do videos like that.
Captain Dynamo 78 sent $5. He says, a lot of us learn from hearing UT talk. Thanks for putting it online for the rest of us. Thanks for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Let's see. Is it worth going into the automotive trade these days?
Probably not. Unless, it is not the business that it used to be,
Used to be the repairs or the work. Now it's the troubleshooting.
Yes,
It's
the
the
diagnosis.
diagnosis that's the work,
Yeah.
and it's electrical.
And cars have become so difficult to work on. It's like the simplest thing, and you gotta take half the car apart, It's like, in the old days, you wanna change your headlight, right? It's like, tick, 3 screws, headlights out, headlights in. It takes you less than a minute. Now you wanna change the headlight, the fascia's gotta come off, the this and that.
Why do you think I haven't put the headlight in my Mazda?
Somebody told me
Because it's
recently,
an all freaking day job, that's why.
they needed a radiator replaced in a Jeep. It's $1,000 to change out the radiator. Because literally the whole front of the truck has to come apart.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't.
Imagine putting a heater core in your car.
Oh no! You see the latest thing now on the Fords. You want to change anything in the dashboard? You got to work on the dashboard. You have to take the doors off. You got to take. Let's say you want to do a heater core or anything on a late model Ford. You literally have to remove the doors from the vehicle because they have bolts that run in from the side. The bolt's like this fucking long, and the bolt runs in from the side, like right over here, and ties the dash frame to the outside part of the car. So if you want to do anything with the dashboard on one of these cars, you have to take the doors off.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
That logistics place I worked in Arizona, we had some Ford pickup trucks, Super Duty pickup trucks with diesel engine in it. They were the years that had a lot of trouble, and they used to do as a heat exchanger that's oil, fuel, or something, water. I don't remember what the thing is, but they have to pull the cab off
Yeah.
the chassis, and every time that happened, it was $9,000. And we had one truck that it had the body off the chassis. It was 6 times. The 6th time they got rid of it. They bought
Yeah.
a Ram truck.
Yeah,
But
so
it's ridiculous, you know.
yeah, it is not. It's not all fun and games. It used to be a great way to make a living. You know, I would give anything to go back to the '70s and the '80s and the '90s and be a mechanic again. But no, not anymore. I mean,
Like an oil cooler back then, I'd be pissed if I had to pull a grill, you know. You reach in there and do it without that, but you have to pull a grill, that was too much work. Hated it. But now, pull a body off the frame? That's, our driver says, yeah, they did better this time. He goes, usually it comes back some screeches and rattles it didn't have, but this one's pretty tight. Jeez.
Ethan says, keep up the talking, UT. You explain things really well compared to a bunch of these other idiots.
well, thank you.
So now, to get back to this, somebody wants to make a living working on cars. You might be able to do it.
Diagnostician. That's
You got to know your diagnostics. And imagine what it's going to be like 30 or 40 years from now. I don't know, I guess you probably go to work for Tesla or something.
Let's see. UTG, thanks for having the balls to be real. I'm going to get you that camera to wear all day.
Oh my God. Wouldn't it speed it up? She's like,
it would be boring. People would.
It would be
very
boring. But
why would it be boring? Yeah, I know. It's like
should
a
do
video you porting heads. I remember watching that, and she'd walk over there once in a while, and this is what it looked like. You don't
Yeah.
talk, you don't say anything. You just like you're here, and that's the only place.
UT doesn't care much about turning.
Shreds going all over. the
Yeah,
place.
like
I don't care about what?
turning wrenches on camera. Is that what you talking about?
porting heads.
Of nut bar 1 cent, you $5 Canadian. Cars today are a little over engineered.
A little.
Let's see.
And you're talking about Ackerman. Man, I worked in a wheel lining shop for a while. There are cars that are backwards. That this wheel is turn a tighter circle. The inner wheel, is turn a tighter circle. But they're Ford vans, like late 70s up into the 80s and 90s. It went like this. This wheel turned further because they messed it up, and they wear out tires like crazy.
Jupiter Mustang Mike says, I love how you sort through and reuse brake pads and shoes.
Jeez.
Oh,
What's wrong with that?
Stuff like that.
Huh?
I'm bad with stuff like
He's
that.
really
My own
bad.
cars, yeah.
Yeah, really bad.
My-
Oh, I
no,
do
this
stuff.
is- yeah.
I do stuff in my own car. I never do on a customer's car.
Oh, I know, of course. No, on the customer's car, I never dreamed about using used parts. My car's please. I got milk crates full of old brake shoes and stuff in the back. I'm like, oh, dude, need brakes. Pop the wheel off, throw a shoe on it real quick, throw the wheel back on. Okay, send it.
This is what I drive around.
Oh, I'm bad with stuff like
I'm
that.
bad with brakes. You have a problem with brakes.
I don't like brakes.
Right, I know. I've noticed.
Brakes?
Yeah.
You know how many times I've gotten out of the car and been like, hey, I have no brakes. They're fine.
I'll admit it. I'm bad.
He's
with
like, they're
stuff
fine. Pump them up. I'm like, I did. It goes to the floor. They're fine.
I always fix stuff like that. I had a 55 Ford when I got it. You had to pump the brakes up until you
Mitten Made Muscle says, as a mechanic on only new cars for the last 10 years, I'm now leaving the profession. Not enough money for the stress they cause.
That I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, the stress is gonna be off the chain. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine what you gotta deal with.
So what's he gonna do now?
Let me tell you something. I am so. Can you got the camera? Bring the camera over here. For a
Yeah.
second. I'm gonna show something. I gotta show.
Martin is saying there's no follow-up on work completed. Did we miss something in our videos? Did we not shoot work,
Oh, yeah,
completed work?
Everything we do. Oh God! Oh!
What'd you do that for?
Is-
Forgot.
Yeah, he don't work.
He
I
forgot.
gotta show something on this. Because this is, okay. This is typical of anything that I do, all right? If you notice, I have this car set so that if I need to pull a valve cover off, I don't have to disturb anything. If I have to so much as move a wire out of the way to take a valve cover off, I have a crisis. I can't handle it, right? I melt down. Here, this is, even this bothers me, but it's a PCV line. There's really not much I can do about it, okay? But just the fact that this has to be removed to take this valve cover off freaks me out. That's my worst nightmare. You have no idea. That's how I am with everything. If it's something that I built for myself and I have to remove any one thing to get to any other one thing, no good. It has to be exactly like this.
Look at the new cars. You can't even see the valve covers.
But this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then you look at the new cars and it's like, okay, why don't you want to work on new cars? Because they're not like that. That's the way it's got to be.
To me, you got to be able to see underneath the car from the top.
Look
Or I
at
don't
it.
wanna
You
work
could.
on it.
There's nothing on this car that you could work on and disturb anything else. It's all right there.
Yep.
You're very picky about your wires.
Extremely. I'm totally anal retentive about the wires. They all have to lay exactly a certain way.
Synchronous barking.
Always.
Arr.
You all right, Tony?
Yeah.
That looked like it hurt.
You forgot. What's that?
Thanks, Jeremy. Jeremy says that's clean. I love it. Joseph says, like, for instance, I made my headers on my 340 so I don't have to take them off to get to the starter and drown in coolant.
Yeah. So it's like you talk about today's cars, the way they're built, the way everything's packaged in there. And it's like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with that. That's the exact opposite of what I want. When I work on one of my own cars, I don't ever have to. If I have to wash my hands after I work on one of my cars, I'm pissed off.
Your hands are always dirty, though.
But that's because I'm cleaning stuff.
You're cleaning stuff, yeah.
But if, let's say I got to work on this thing. When I'm finished working on this car, I don't have to wash my hands. Everything is clean. You know, that's like a big thing of mine. But accessibility, being able to get at without moving anything out of the way, you know, you have no idea. I'm completely anal about stuff like that. Which is why you'll never see a turbocharger on anything on their own, because turbochargers are too cluttered. You know, I don't care if it gives me 20,000 horsepower for fucking. I don't care if people pay me. Here's $1,000 to make 20,000 horsepower in your car. I won't do it. I don't want it. I would rather have it run on 7 cylinders, and be able to work on it.
Mike N says, my car looks like that. You saved me a lot of money, giving me the confidence to work on my car. Thanks, UT.
Thank you. And that's what this channel is about. This channel is about giving people the confidence to work on their stuff, the confidence and the motivation to go out and work on your stuff. That's what we're here to do.
Calm down, Tony.
I can't. I get all stressed out. You have no idea.
Is your back okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Edwin Johnson says, I need help on my timing. Built 440 KB high tops, comp cams, Magnum. Oop, it jumped on me. Magnum cam heads, shaved, 20,000s, an RV 77 443 external balance, Can you get timing right? If I knew where you was, I would bring it to you.
Shoot for 34 total. 34 total, and you want it in by like 2,000, 2,200, 2,300 RPM. That's about all I can tell you on that.
The ping's back at it.
Chris says,
That won't ping at 34.
Well,
I'm 20 years old. I own a 77 Pontiac Firebird and an '08 Dakota. Love the hobby, but I'd rather work on the Firebird than the Dakota since you can C screw a leads to B and C step on the Classy.
what?
I have no idea.
Classic.
But I'm going to say yes.
I think he meant on the Classic. On the Classic. Excuse me.
See, here's another. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys how bad I am. You want to know how bad I am? No car of mine ever has ever had or ever will have a fan shroud. I don't care what the benefits are. I don't care what no car, no vehicle I ever own will ever have a fan shroud of any fucking sort. Because when I want to change a belt, I want to get in there like this, change the belt, get back out. It's little stuff like that. You have no idea, right?
Well, I worked on customers' cars, cooling systems. Fan shrouds are a pain in the ass, but you gotta work with them.
Well,
It's a
customer
customer's
car,
car.
yeah, customer car. My own car, first thing to leave is a fucking fan shroud. It's like one of my pet peeves. If the car overheats because it doesn't have a fan shroud, I'll go with that. Let's let it overheat. I don't
There's
care
ways to get
I
around
don't
it.
care if I go 3 blocks and the fucking thing blows the top of the radiator off. No fan shroud.
See, I built radiators. You can change the tube and fin count so that the air gets through easier, or you can change it to much denser, like for a high speed, where no the air is going to get through it, you know. But you look at something like a Jeep from the World War II, the fins are like 6 fins per inch, and the tubes are real far apart, and because they idle around and never went fast, they got to get air through them.
Caleb says, hey UTG, would you do a tailpipe turbo?
If I was to do a turbo, I would on anything I own, and I have considered it many times. I would do a rear mount. I'm not. There's a possibility that one of our cars, in the not too distant future, may get a rear mount turbo, but I have other things I got to do first. But that is something I would consider. Absolutely.
You've mentioned Turbiniques a few times.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything with those, or you just
They
knew
were all
about
gone
them?
before my time.
Oh, okay.
They were all gone before.
Oh,
my time.
I remember them, but I never saw one up close.
Maybe Gonzo, maybe.
What's that?
Are we related to Amityville?
Yes.
The channel is great, a lot of knowledge shared freely, thanks.
You know, and that's part of it. I've known people throughout life that they think the way to do well in life is to keep everything secret. And there's other people that like to share everything. And I always felt like you got so much more done when you shared everything, you know, everything you know.
How old are you?
I'm 58.
Yeah, 58.
Man, I'm 66. I'm old.
We're old.
Late 60s. Oh,
Spooky, yeah.
man. 1970 is 50 years.
It's okay, Gonzo. Same as my dad, 66, still kicking. Awesome. Tony is 58.4027, John Wilburn says.
Probably
Is that
about
for people so they can figure out when his birthday is?
My birthday?
20 years old is my dad.
Who said there's no follow-up on stuff that we do?
The guy that had been complaining, that said the show was terrible. That there's
Why
no
haven't we
follow-up,
followed up on
no
it?
follow-up on stuff that we complete.
Well, I don't understand. When we complete it, what's the follow-up on it?
Now he's saying, Martin is saying just the show is a full-time job.
Well, yeah, it
It is, Martin. It always needs to be
Yes.
monitored.
It's your job.
I get messages in the middle of the night, my phone goes off. Ding!
No, but seriously, what haven't we followed through with? Every single thing that we
I don't know,
completed
maybe we haven't
is completed,
filmed.
and we drive it, and
maybe we haven't filmed things in depth after we finish it. I don't know. I'm just
Okay, so
keeping
like
an
we
open
fin-
mind.
so we finished the
He
swinger.
said something, so now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah,
You took people for rides in the swinger.
Right, I'm not-
you
I'm
went
trying
to,
to
the,
figure
you
out,
went
like,
to
what-
some grocery store with the swinger and you took everybody.
You're welcome,
That's pretty
Donald.
cool.
yeah, well, I mean, okay, so we painted the duster, what follow-up now?
Oh, you gotta take everybody for a ride in it.
No, but I'm serious, like,
Yeah.
what, I wanna know what people expect of follow-up, it's like, it's done, now it's just a car, and it's something that,
It's a
I
green
know.
car.
right, like the swinger, it gets used literally every day, it's just out there in traffic, what follow-up, should we show the car in traffic, oh, here's the latest update on the car in traffic? No, now it's just being used as a car,
Yeah. Well, maybe because we're on the inside, it's hard for us to see what we do.
well, I don't know, that's
So
why
I
I'm
do
curious.
listen to things that people say.
Th-
So
I-
I'm
and that's why
asking
I'm-
for specifics.
That's why I'm posing,
Because maybe we miss things that we could be doing.
Like Bottle Rocket, we, like literally, like, I think we overcover the car. Because it's like, we do stuff on it, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
Bottle Rocket's a test project.
it's an ongoing project.
Yeah, it's not done.
Definitely, Olive. We were trying to get that video done last week, but it was raining and it was crappy, and she was
Which video
busy.
is that?
Crystal driving the Duster, learning how to drive stick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, the weather's been that crappy.
Yeah, it's been lousy out. Maybe
course.
people just want to know if it keeps working or things have been breaking.
Well, when they break, you know about it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
tell
but-
everybody everything
Yeah.
we break.
Well, I mean,
It's no
it's got-
secret.
The swinger needs a water pump, it's a new water pump, it started leaking 3 months later, is that a
You're
video?
kidding.
Yeah.
It's got leaking out the weep hole.
So you got the weep pump, brand new water pump. But I'm saying like, okay, so like, what's the video? Should I do a video on how I have to change the water pump because, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
What's wrong with water pumps? I've been putting water pumps on cars this
They use
last
that
year,
Chinese rubber.
and they leak like
It's that
300 miles later. They're pissing coolant on the ground.
Like, I'm definitely open to ideas of things that people want to see or things that maybe we're not detailing enough
Yeah.
or things that they want to know more about. Like, if you present it to me in a nice way, I'll definitely think about it.
Well, it's like it's the squeaky wheel syndrome. It's
Right.
like,
But you're not going to please everybody. That's
no,
just
I mean,
the
no,
way
I
it
mean,
is.
I mean mechanically, as far as
Yeah.
the cars go. If something functions correctly, where's the video?
Right.
Here's the update on, the swinger. It's
I took it to Publix.
took it to Publix, took it to Home Depot. It made it to and from Home Depot.
It carries my groceries great.
It's like that, so we finish it and then we move on. And if we do anything else with the car down the road, we'll
The
do
gas mileage we didn't do on that car.
I don't drive it. You do.
I know, but how would I figure out what the gas mileage is?
I have it
Around
averaged
town.
approximately 20
Because
miles
we
per
were
gallon.
supposed to do that portion of it,
That's true. That's true.
and we didn't follow through with that.
No, we did try to get it. We did try to get it to the track.
Right,
drove-
but it was
we-
closed.
Yeah, we drove to the track 2 weeks ago. We got there. It was a Saturday night. They were supposed to be open, and they
They
were
were
closed.
closed,
So it was
yeah.
like, okay, well, what do we do now? But we got that. We got the G-Tech,
Right.
the G-Tech Pro coming. So I don't know how accurate it is. Supposedly it's extremely accurate. It's
Okay.
a G meter with a timer in it, so we should be able to get accurate times, close to accurate times, maybe off by a tenth or two. I don't
Okay.
know.
So when I go to
With that.
Publix, I can stick it in the car and I can
Yeah, you can exactly
punch it and
punch it, and
You can have a camera on this side,
right.
looking that way, and then when the police officer's talking to you, you can
Yeah.
explain how you're making YouTube videos.
UTG doesn't have a finished project since he doesn't stop driving them. Always non-important repairs that aren't brought up. It's good contact.
But I had a 64 Ford Galaxy for 17 years. I worked on it always, there was always something. Either I was making something better or I was fixing something.
Well-
So it's just that's the way it is.
my 64, Mrs. Landy, needs a rear wheel cylinder. Is that a video? No, so
That's just
tomorrow morning, the next day, I gotta put a rear wheel cylinder in.
That's just
Do I
a-
make a fucking video of that? About
It's
that?
just a job.
Right. The GT has the left front brake is grinding a little bit on it. Do I make a video about that? No.
Right.
I mean, it's like,
And you have to sit and think about your videos. You don't always have
Well,
you
and
know,
then the job
something
takes
to
longer.
do. Huh?
And then the job takes longer. you're out in the rain, and
Yeah, John, we can all do bracket racing.
it's like I was saying with electrical problems, fuses that go when you don't have a fuse. When it happens, you know, wheel cylinders go bad. When there's like a foot of snow, there's ice, snow, and you get the car jacked.
Chris is saying, I think people just want a summary of the build at the end, like TV. Well, see, that maybe it's different for us because everything is always a work in progress.
Yeah,
Nothing is ever done.
That's true.
TV is that magic where it takes an hour to turn a car from one thing into another thing, and then it's done. And that's not really the way life is.
Well, yeah, okay, so let's just using a car as an example, right? Like a well-known car as an example. You have Roadkill and it's the crop duster. Okay,
Okay, I don't know. I don't watch Roadkill much.
it's a duster that they put a 440 in, and then they put a 383 in it, and they're working through the issues with the car and so on and so forth. But what people don't realize now is that there are literally years between episodes. So it's like they'll do, or between updates on the car. So they'll do this to it, and they'll get this result out of it, whatever it happens to be, and they'll say, well, they're going to change this and this. And then that's it. For a year, 2 years goes by, nothing happens with this car. And then it appears again. And they did this, that, and the other thing, and then it disappears for another 2 years. And it's like this, and that. So you've got like 6 years of this car, but when you watch it on TV, it's all compressed into 3 half-hour segments. So it's an hour and a half. It's like 6 years in an hour and a half.
Yeah, we don't shoot like that.
We don't shoot like that.
Well, that's how life is.
Right.
It's two people.
Have you ever watched Chick Foos? You know, they do a car
Sure.
in an hour, or it's actually a week. But they got an army of highly skilled people, and,
And
then, at
show-offs,
the end,
right.
and then at the end, it's this beautiful car, and they show them driving it with it, whoever owns it, and that's kind of cool. But that's not the way the world normally is.
But in general, Kathy's right. None of our cars are ever finished.
We don't want them finished.
So I said that 64 Ford of mine, 17 years I worked on it, because it's never finished.
Yeah, literally, nothing we own is finished. Nothing we own will ever be finished. They're all ongoing projects. They're all ongoing, evolving, refining, changing, but that's the enjoyment that we get from these cars. You know what I mean? Some people like a finished product. And they want something they just polish and take out on Sundays, or take to the track or whatever, and they put it, and they want a finished project. And I have no interest
We
in
don't
that.
do that, right?
My interest is in, it's like as I'm putting the engine together that's
If
in
it's
this
finished,
car,
we won't want it.
I'm already thinking about the next engine I'm
next
going to
engine.
build for it.
Right.
Isn't that right?
Seriously,
Yeah.
that's it exactly. It's like, like when we built the 440 and the Charger, right? It was like as we were putting that engine together, like I remember Kathy was putting the pistons in it, and I was like, the next one we're going to use a higher compression piston because it's just So it's like as we're building one engine, I'm already thinking ahead to what the next one that's going to be in the car is, and maybe that doesn't transfer.
Maybe not. And compared to the other shows and what they do, they have a project and it's done,
Right.
and that's it. It's over. The car goes away, and ours are just continuous.
Right.
Well, you never finish anything. Well, we don't want to finish anything.
Yeah, everything.
We
is,
enjoy working on stuff. That's the
everything
whole
is a work
purpose.
of art. Everything is a work in progress. It's like the paint job on the Swinger. It's like right now, yeah, it shines good, but it's got a lot of waves. But that doesn't bother me because I'm already thinking ahead to the next paint job on that car and what I want to do differently for the next paint job.
Yeah, you were about to go get more paint.
Yeah.
Like the next week.
I couldn't believe you were unhappy with that. It's fine.
He's
Well,
like, I'm just gonna do it again.
Because I want to prove to myself that I can do a good paint job. You know what I mean? And I'm a long way from that yet. But to me, it's like that's the challenge. And you know what? After I've done a good paint job, I'll kind of probably lose interest in painting cars. But right now, I want to paint cars more than I want to do anything else.
That's what it is.
Really?
It's the challenge.
Yeah.
We don't really care about what it is as long as it's
It's
challenging.
got to be a challenge. It's got to be, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And other
You
people
know, you
want
do the
products.
same thing all the time, mundane, even complicated stuff becomes mundane and routine and, yep. and
Yeah,
you
that's
wanna move
definitely
on.
the difference. It's about the challenge, where other people, it's about the product. We
Right.
really don't care about the product.
I don't care about the product.
Right, we
I
don't care about the
challenge.
product. Right, it's
Yeah.
the experience versus the
It's
item.
it's like this car, right? If you guys knew what this thing looked like when we dragged it out of the woods, you wouldn't believe it.
I have pictures someplace.
Do you?
Yeah.
This was a gutted, rotted,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah, here, let
roof
me-
crushed.
Roof crushed, window broken.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, no trunk, no floors. Just,
Yep.
I mean, this car was destroyed.
There's not an ounce of Bondo on this car. Everything is completely straight. It's beautiful.
But I mean, I worked on this car for how long?
Months.
How'd you
Months
get
and
it so
months and
straight?
months.
All metal, all
No,
hammered out?
there's Bondo in there, but it's just skim.
Yeah, just the skim.
Like a,
Like-
yeah, okay.
I hammered and dialed on this car for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally
At least
every
4.
day.
Yep. Good night, Olive.
Good night.
Tony should fire up that 400. It's a little late. Our neighbors might not like that.
Do have neighbors.
You could hear it run if you go to the cold start extravaganza video. I think
Yeah.
that was the last time we started this thing, really.
Yep.
Man, you need
Doesn't
to start
move.
it once in a while.
Yeah, you find our cold start extravaganza, and there's this car running at the end of it.
I had a 69 Camaro I kept in the garage like that. And about once every 5 or 6 months, I'd start it up and run it, get it good and warm, just drive around the block or something, bring it, change the oil. Always change the oil, a nice clean oil come on. That's oil I put in my Vega. Because the Vega, I still had to keep a case of oil in the Vega, because every time I got gas, I took 2 quarts.
Edwin Johnson sent $50.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for the advice. I vote make Uncle Tony's Mopar cereal there. Great. Laugh out loud. I work in Tennessee all the time, always looking for you, or hope we cross paths one day. Well, thank you, Edwin.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope the cross paths also.
You'll
Don't
see
hesitate
us
to-
with whatever we're driving.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. UTG meetup? I don't know.
You know, I gotta say something else for us too. I gotta blow on horn one thing too.
Okay.
We are the only channel that I'm aware of, right, that literally practices what we preach. Like, this is all we do. So in other words, there's lots of other guys out there, you know, that do channels, really good channels. I'm not saying anything bad about their work or anything like that. But they all drive a newer truck or a newer car, you know, as their
Yeah,
major
okay. Yeah,
transportation.
that's their daily.
Right.
It's like me, my daily driver is a Mazda.
daily driver, they-
I'm looking forward to the day that it won't be. I gotta pay it off.
No, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, right? Everybody else that's in this world, okay, drives something new as their daily driver. You know, whether it's with their grocery getter or their shop truck or shop vehicle or their tow vehicle, whatever it happens to be. Everybody has something late model that they use. Not us.
Your newest car is
19
40 years old.
My newest car is 40 years old, and that's way too new for me.
That's the yellow van, isn't it?
No, the yellow van's a 78. The Wrecker is an 80.
The Wrecker, that's it. I
Hey,
know it was
hey,
one
hey.
of the one of the.
Edwin, send us your address. UncleTony'sGarage@gmail.com. I'm going to send you some stuff.
So yeah, we actually practice what we preach. We're out there literally every single day, 7 days a week, and all we own, all we drive is these cars. So, you know, take that for what it's worth.
How many do you have?
14.
14.
And out of 14, 11 of them are absolutely turnkey. Like I could throw the battery in this car, put some gas in it, turnkey, drive it. Roadrunner.
Yeah, everything runs.
So 3 of them are parts cars that are complete projects.
No parts cars. I'm not counting parts cars.
You're not counting. Okay.
No, I'm talking about just complete cars. The Helvetier is not runnable right now. The Slate 6 car isn't runnable right now. You know, the Dart and Bottle Rocket is down right now. That's it.
All the rest of them are driving.
It's literally every single else thing we own. You can get in and, you know, besides like throwing a battery in it, throw gas in it, turn the key, pump the gas, and fucking drive.
You got stable in all this?
No,
Oh man.
Do we have what?
stable.
What's that?
Stuff you put in the gas so
Oh,
it doesn't
okay,
doesn't
yeah.
go quite as sour.
No, I generally run them out of gas or low enough that it'll just evaporate.
Yeah. And more about old Mopar stuff that's 90s and older.
The 90s seems new to me.
Yeah, me too.
Except for my Mazda, you know, what the hell did I buy that
My
for?
daily is an 80. Joseph Flex Mopar 74 and older. I'm young and would like to be an auto mechanic, but this talk about How new cars are bad and you can't work on them is kind of scaring me away. I feel like I was born the wrong generation.
Well, you know what you do. You learn the electronics, and you go into that profession if you feel like you can do that. If you like mechanics and you don't want to work on the new cars, you go get an A&P and work on aircraft. There's good money in that. But then on your own time, have cars this age.
Yeah.
And then you are you can put yourself
Tony,
in
you don't want to work on new cars because you're used to working on this stuff. But
You-
for a young person,
Wait
it
a
would be
second.
easier for them to go into it than
Or
for someone like you to go into
that.
it.
Or go
Well,
into some
let's
other
be
kind of
fair.
mechanics. You know, there's all kinds of mechanical stuff.
Let's be fair though, I was a mechanic up until, I mean, I worked on late model stuff up
Right, I
until I
know.
went into the parts business, which was what?
Right,
12
but
years
I
ago,
don't think
13
you would
years
have
ago.
hated it as much if that's all you ever knew.
So you're
That's
using
true.
That's
you're
what I'm
using
saying.
OBD2 and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If
Okay.
he's young, it might be easier for him than it would have been for you coming from this going into it.
Well-
Up until I'd say 15
You
years
can't
ago.
stand it because you're old.
Up until 15 years ago, I was up on everything. I had all of the latest diagnostic equipment. I was up on all of the latest systems
It's just
across the board.
it's not fun like this though.
Yeah, and then I reached a point, and I told you, I did a video on this. It was a Ford Explorer that broke me. And I was like, I just cannot go any further. I can't work on this stuff anymore. It's making me miserable. So I quit everything. I got rid of it. I went around. I've since I've replaced them, right? But I literally took every metric tool I had and threw it away.
Oh, I could never do that.
I
My
could-
first wrench was metric. It's for a bicycle. It's 1963. I still have it.
I think if Uncle No Identity is young, he should do it.
Well, if you like mechanical stuff and electronic stuff, the cars is a good way to go. Just do this on your own time. Or aircraft. Go in the military, work on F-18s or something, you know?
There are guys who work on late model stuff and really enjoy it.
Well, I did the aircraft thing for 30 years. I made really good money doing that. But I enjoy this way, way, way more.
Aircraft is a very limited field if you want to be, you want to get
Oh.
into being a mechanic.
You're going to be
Right.
specialized and you're going to...
Kathy is right. Don't be freaked out by what we're saying, because everybody approaches things differently. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has a different perspective on stuff. You may actually enjoy the jigsaw puzzle part of working on the new cars. You know, where like somebody like me, it doesn't. Like I'm a minimalist, right? But I mean,
You're like the Amish.
I'm a
You're
mechanic.
automotive Amish.
Right? So you may enjoy that aspect of it, the tightness, the way things are packed in, and everybody is different. So don't go by just what I'm saying. Just take what I'm saying as one person's opinion, something to be considered, but not the end all be all of it.
Can I mention another channel?
Joseph Giannini
South-
sent $20. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you,
South Main Auto is a YouTube channel, and that guy works on nothing but late model stuff. And if you watch him, you'll go watch him go through a diagnostic process and a repair on car after car after car. And he's a really interesting guy to listen to, and I watch him a lot. And it's kind of fun, but I'm past that.
Who's the black guy with the Teslas?
Oh God,
I love that channel.
I don't know.
I can't think of his name. I haven't seen that
Is he
channel.
the guy
I
that
haven't-
races them, or is it?
No, he rebuilds them. I can't
Oh,
I
no,
can't think
I
of his
don't
name
know.
now. I haven't seen the channel probably in about 2-3 months. But for a while,
No, I
I
don't
was
even
binge
know.
watching him.
Okay, I didn't know.
This guy, yeah, he builds Tesla. He rebuilds Teslas out of junk.
Oh jeez.
You know, so here's somebody who he dives into the complication, the muck, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
masters it. So it's like there's so many different mentalities.
Right. Terry Burns says, just admit it, we're old curmudgeons. We don't like the newfangled stuff.
Well, sadly, you're partially right.
Partially right.
Partially
Yep.
right.
I like technology. I like the new stuff. And I keep talking about aircraft because that's what I was into. I know all the new stuff, all the fly-by-wire, all that stuff. But for enjoyment, this is enjoyable. I'd much rather pull a radiator out of this than whatever that Jeep was you were talking about. That was
Rich rebuilds, they're saying.
Rich rebuilds, that's it. Yeah.
Rich Rebuilds, huh?
What a great, if you ever
No, I don't even know about it. I'll have to look at it.
Oh, this guy's amazing.
Michael Phillips says, all my cars are over 45 years old. It's not for everybody. What we do is not for everybody.
No,
No, you have to be a little demented.
yeah. You have to love work because you're always working on them.
Nicholas.
You know, you were talking last week when we wrapped it up and I was leaving and you were talking to me for a minute about this era of cars. And I was saying I really like the stuff from like mid 50s when they went to 12 volt, about them up till, I don't know what I said, 80 or something. And you said, no, this right here. These are the cars. And I got thinking about it. You're right. You know?
1970 is the high water mark.
Yeah, so it's like 65, 66 up to early 70s. That bunch right there.
Okay, it went from this, right? It went from this. The modern car, the one that can be used on interstates, you know, maintain traffic
Oh.
and all of that, began around 1960, thereabouts. Okay? It was refined, and the high watermark of the analog automobile was 1970. Then that was the peak, and then it started declining, and then the decline had to do with the technology piled onto the cars.
Well,
So-
rules and regulations they didn't know how to deal
The
with.
simplest machine is the best machine. The one that has the least amount of parts is the superior, to perform a function is the superior machine. So you reach the high, you started, let's say 1960, you reached the high water mark in 1970, and then from 1970 on, you started coming down because they started adding more and more and more and more stuff. So then they no longer become cars, they become appliances. So the peak of car is 1970. That's your high water mark.
That's what I say about my Mazda. It's an appliance. It's not even a car.
Today's
So I use it like a refrigerator or a washing machine.
When you go out right now, go out and buy a brand new fucking Hellcat or a brand new fucking, you know, Camaro or a Mustang, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, right? That thing will be used up and over. 10 years from now.
And this will
15
still be
years from
normal.
now. Right, it's over. You'll have the cascading effect of electronic failures one after the other. There's so many parts that they can't all be kept in stock. They're not serviceable. It's like, for instance, if the wiper switch goes on this car, I could take the wiper switch apart, clean the contacts, put it back together again.
You can't do it.
But you can't do that with any of the new cars.
Yeah, how are you going to restore a 2020 car 20
50
years from now?
Never. You
You
can't.
can't get the
It'll
you
be
won't be able
impossible.
to get.
So,
Edwin, Uncle Tony's Garage at gmail.com.
so that's
Thank you.
the thing, right? These aren't cars that they built today. They're appliances. They're very fast appliances. Some of them are very beautiful appliances, but they're just appliances. They don't have a soul. These things can be recycled over and over and over and over and over again.
Didn't we
Yeah,
talk
you're
about
not-
that? We're recyclers.
You're not kidding.
We are recycled.
We are recyclers.
Every car I own will outlive me. Every project I'm starting right now will still be a viable fucking thing after I'm dead. Every single thing I own here will end up in somebody else's hands, and they're going to work on it. But you go to the supermarket parking lot right now and look over that sea of cars, and not a single one of them can make that claim.
You're right.
See what I'm saying?
Try to get someone to drive with a map. Huh? Yeah.
Oh God, I used to do that.
Remember that?
Biggers Media sent $2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Getting NRS BBM valve covers next week. The Rod Shop. Nice. Very
BBM,
nice.
Big Buck Mopar.
Big Butt Mopar. Oh, Big Butt Mopar. I'm getting tired. It's over 3 hours.
Yeah, we're going to call it
Over 3 hours.
quits very soon.
Cars then had a personality like their owners. Yeah, they all the same now.
There's no color.
They're all trucks and SUVs anyway. Yep. Yeah. Just bought a 66 Charger 318 Poly to revive. Nice.
So I just saw this thing, the Hellcat fucking Jeep that they got now.
Oh God, I don't
That
know.
was on Barrett Jackson, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, it
Was
was
it?
Barrett Jackson.
Yeah, I was half paying
The
attention.
Hellcat Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
800 horsepower and
In a Jeep.
a Jeep. And I'm like, and I'm watching this hours after I stuck my valiant body on top of a fucking pickup truck chassis.
Because he couldn't move. He was
And
on
I'm
the
like,
couch.
and I'm like, you know, I have like literally no interest in.
Thank you, Fubar.
You know what I mean? You could give me one of these things, and I have no interest in it. I just don't want it. But I got totally stoked over my Valiant on the truck chassis. You know, it's like
Well, I saw that thumbnail.
Such a
It was
caveman.
like,
I am a caveman. I'm a
It's all
proud
right.
caveman.
It's all
I
right.
was just looking at that thing you talking about shortening the chassis, and then not shortening the chassis, and then I see the thumbnail. It was like, it was the next day.
Yeah.
It was there. There it is.
No, but I don't do anything.
No.
No,
I don't work on anything.
One thing about Tony is like if he has an idea, he has to do it right away. Like it's
Yeah.
an immediate thing. Like we could have plans, which a lot of people don't understand. We can't make plans. Everything we do is completely on the fly. Because if he has something in his head, he has to do it right then and there.
What if you
And
get too many ideas?
everything comes to a halt.
I get too many ideas.
That's why I have too many cars.
Right.
Because each of them represents different ideas.
Yeah, you have to be able to fly by the seat of your pants. Let's see.
But that's why we're successful.
Maybe, I don't know. Or that's why we've been unsuccessful in the past.
Possibly.
Who knows?
We've had both.
Keep it simple, stupid. Words to live by. Yep. Yeah. Uncle No Identity says, I wonder what cars of, say, the 2050s would look like. The cars from the 60s were boxy, and then the 1980s went smooth, but now they all look alike. Also, look at paint. Black, silver, gray, and white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't think we'll be around for that, 2050.
No.
We're not going to make that.
Man, 2050.
Yeah.
96.
Yeah, you'll
I
still.
won't be around.
Yeah, Anthony, Heatherly says, I seen that. Laugh out loud. I like the Valiant better. Joseph says, I think the 70s power plants are better than the new engines.
God.
Honestly, right? Okay, so take VVT out of the equation, right? But if you're talking about just the engines themselves, if you took a modern low drag ring pack, right, and properly ported cylinder heads on any vintage engine, they'll perform exactly the way the modern engines do. You know what I'm saying? Because really, what's the difference? What's the difference between, you know, the early, you know, what we're used to, what we're accustomed to, and a modern engine? The only real difference is well thought out, well ported cylinder heads and low tension rings. What else is different?
You say low tension rate. They're much thinner rings.
Yeah, these old engines use big, thick
Big
cast
looking
rings,
rings,
and
yeah.
now they use the thin stainless rings. But that's really it.
You have a few minutes. I'm running out of power.
Okay.
Okay?
You know what
All
time?
right, so let anybody get their last licks in there.
Yeah, it's 10:30.
George Bonnie 90 says, modern cars are sold to support the parts market. The money's in the parts.
It's true.
Ben Tree says, you know what they say, nostalgia sells. Yep. Chris says, it's easy to get your kids and get them in the garage and save your classics. The work will carry you through your life. iCloud Corey says, what does Uncle Tony think of electronic exhaust cutouts for my 69 Roadrunner?
Not my cup of tea.
No.
No.
Chris says, I worked in a Honda plastic plant paint department, same part, slightly repurposed. Good night, Mark Shaw. He says, bye, Tony. Evan says, love the channel. I'm 20 years old and I daily drive a 1969 Buick Skylark.
Nice.
All
Yeah.
year long in Ohio.
Nice.
Nice to see other people aren't scared to drive classics year round. Cool.
Nice.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Where was he in Ohio? Did it say or just say Ohio?
Just says in Ohio.
Ohio.
You go, man. You are the spirit of.
Remember driving them in the snow? Driving our
Sure.
Chargers in the snow
I lived in Ohio for 15 years.
with the holes in the floor and the slush coming through.
Plowing through.
Oh, geez.
That's why we're not afraid of anything. Driving in
true.
New York City in a 68 Charger with holes in the floor through the snow.
With
no heat.
6-pack, 4
Six
seats.
pack, running out of gas every like 10 feet.
A 6-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, no floors.
Oh yeah, no, we had some brutal stuff. But you know what? It made me a hell of a fucking driver.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, it was fun. Crazy. I don't know how we lived, Tony.
When you go over like the Verrazano Bridge, could you look down and see the
Yeah.
water through the floor?
I used to have to keep my feet spread apart, and the dirty slush would fly up into
Oh.
the car.
We were kids. Right now, people are gonna be like, "Oh, they did that last year." No, we were like,
You know what? I would
You
do
were a
it.
teenager.
I would do it last year.
Yeah, I did stuff different when I was a teen.
Anthony says thank you. Get better with your back. Let's see. I drive my old 88 Formula with a built 355 and 373s in the winter here in Michigan. Can't believe I'm still alive. Definitely fun, interesting. Bold tires.
Tires. Put that one on the right rear. Do better burnouts.
Thank you, Lazy A-Hole Ranch.
do you remember
Have a
that
good
night at
night.
Fountain Avenue we were street racing in the snow?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was like it became a snowstorm. But
I
we
know.
were like, everybody was just so like amped up about like, oh, beat this motherfucker. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning and it's
Snowing.
snow. It was just a blizzard. It was coming down and we kept racing. We didn't give a fuck.
God. I hate snow.
I remember
I hate it.
I remember being like halfway down the track, going down the strip there, and it was like, wing, bouncing off the curves, wing. And you look at the other guy, he's doing it.
Same thing.
Maybe we achieved like 25 miles an hour, but it didn't fucking matter. It was like, we're gonna go.
Jeez.
We had a lot of fun.
Man, and I was in the Southwest. Oh God, I moved to Ohio in '91, and that's when the whole snow thing started. Man,
Dan's Garage says I drive the Cutlass year round if it had a heater or rear brakes or decent front brakes, and if I didn't live in Minnesota.
Those are all small obstacles to
Right.
get around.
Yeah. You need an inversion table. Oh, it's snowing where Lazy A-Hole Ranch is. Ugh. I love the snow though.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
we
yeah.
ready?
Yeah.
3 hours, 21 minutes.
Wow.
that's a long one,
Yeah,
is a
long
but it
one.
wasn't any good.
It was fun though.
I don't have a heating pad. No, Joseph, I don't.
Heating pad.
You want me to go get you a heating pad? I can go to
No,
Walmart and
I'll
get
be
one.
fine.
I would do that for you.
No, tomorrow I'll be brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah. Well, not quite, but
All right, you ready?
yes, I'm ready.
Ready to sign
Ready
off?
to say goodnight, Buff?
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Probably be next week. But see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I'll see him tomorrow. I think.
Yes,
I gotta
sir.
do a video tomorrow.
You're gonna do a
I think
video.
we're gonna do a video of the 3D3.
I'm looking forward to that.
A general video, overview of the 3D3 Mopar, which is the engine that made Chrysler. People are like, oh, the Hemi.
Good night,
No,
John. Thank
no,
you.
No, it was the 3D3.
It was in everything.
It was
Good
in
night,
everything, and
426
it is
Biggie.
what built the Mopar
Good night,
reputation.
Fubar. Thank you.
Yes, Fubar, John,
Ari,
Ari, thank you guys
everybody.
so much. Everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. It's what keeps everything, the wheels turning over here. And
Thanks for hanging out with us.
yeah, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, it's
I
fun.
look forward to Sunday nights.
Yeah, so do I. That's why I drive down here.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.